What's up, guys? My name is Satyan Sierra, and welcome to another episode of Hablando Movies. Today, I want to do something special, something fun here, because as many of you guys might know, there's a new movie that's coming out. It's on the horizon. It's from the multi-billion-dollar franchise that many of you might know, and of course, I'm talking about Fast 9, the penultimate chapter. It was supposed to be the ending of the series, which will be with Fast 10 or 11. Wait, is it Fast 10? I think it's Fast 10. Might be the last one.
Didn't that movie come out last April? Fast 9, right? We all saw that.
All right. Oh, yeah, we saw it. It's a great movie. Oh, it's Fast 10's coming out this year. It's Fast 10.
Yeah,
Man,
Fast 10 your seatbelts. That is definitely not a joke that I can't.
Oh, my God.
That should be their title.
But yeah, it's been a long year waiting for this latest entry to come out. And you're like, you know what? I wanted to just get a retrospective review and all the entries from the beginnings, from the humble beginnings to going to space, apparently, this new movie. I wanted to see what the difference is as we go along. I want to see what's going on in the series. But I didn't want to do it alone. I wanted to bring some friends in here. And it might be a weekly thing, so stay tuned for that. I think it will come out every Friday as we near that release date for Fast 9. So I bring some friends here. I brought my friend Henry Washington. What's up, Henry?
What's up?
Good. I also brought my friend Josean.
Hey, brother. Thank you for having me.
I also brought my friend Danny Dogget.
Dogget.
And Fast aficionado, lover of the Fast and the Furious franchise, Nathan Flynn. What's up, Nathan?
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong there. Like,
you told me that you love this
I'm the
movie.
Mission Impossible guy, but I guess I'm going from Mission Impossible to Mission in Freaking Sanity, as Tyrese said in Fast 5. But yeah, glad to be here. Love
You
these
told me
movies.
you love this movie, so I was like, I need to bring this man in here.
Well, you can firmly say the first Fast and Furious is better than the first Mission Impossible.
True.
Hey, that's a debate.
Yeah,
That's
yeah, I'd go there.
Wait.
I'd go there.
It's kind of debatable, yeah.
I mean,
I would say that there is a better scene in the first Mission Impossible where he's dangling there than all of Fast and Furious. But if I were to say which one am I throwing on, it'd be Fast and Furious.
Yeah.
Like
oh
no
yeah,
doubt.
it's better paced.
Yeah.
It's way better paced than Mission Impossible for sure. But
Yeah,
man,
this movie is your fucking
this movie,
sorry.
it's insane. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. The Fast, I'm talking about the Fast and the Furious. I think the last time I saw this was 2018 maybe. So it's been a long time, and so it was interesting to watch this movie. But I want to ask you guys, like, what is your experience with the franchise, and what's your experience with this first movie? I'll start with Henry. What's your experience with this franchise as a whole? Do you like it? Do you hate it?
I'm a big fan. I've seen like every single one, even the first one when it first came out in the theaters. Because me and my friends, we were into cars. We were big car heads, so that was like a big thing that got us into cars when we were 16. And my friend had a Honda Civic and he was racing that shit. And I had a neon piece of shit, Dodge Neon. So, but it's there's some varying quality with the movies, but I really do like them, and I think they're fun action movies, and this is really enjoyable to watch, even how ridiculous they get.
Okay, cool. I mean, I'll let you guys know I'm not really as steeped into car culture, so I might ask you stuff about cars because I don't know shit. They start talking about car stuff in here. I'm like, whatever, okay, whatever he said.
Oh, it's.
I don't have a driver's license, and I have never I've driven occasionally, but I've not to a heavy level. I'm not a gearhead at all, but I love this franchise.
Sebastian and
Me
Nathan
too.
are like car payment,
Yeah, right.
car
Like,
insurance.
Yeah.
Wait. Gas money. What?
wait, all I know is just turn on the car, turn it off. That's it. That take me from
All
point
you
A to
know,
B.
all you know about cars is how to ask for rides.
That's true.
Yeah, that's very true.
That's true. But I don't know how to trick a car. I don't know how to go NOS. I don't know how to go 1/4 of a mile. I don't know any of that stuff. But Josean, what's your experience with the Fast and the Furious franchise?
Man, I saw the first one. Like, this is the second time watching it for this review.
Okay, fair
Because
enough.
I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I was a huge fan of Tokyo Drift. The second one, no, the third one, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you're one of those California hipsters that in on the Tokyo Drift.
Yeah.
The fucking avocado bacon burger of Fast and Furious movies.
Yeah,
I
man.
feel ya.
I think I liked it the most because it was heavily inspired on the Japanese anime. The one with the
Initial
the one
D.
that had the arcade game. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one.
Dude, you don't gotta play. You could just say you're into Asian girls.
Oh, also, obviously.
Well, every Fast and Furious movie has a different brand of Asian. Like this one it looks exclusively Filipinas.
Yeah.
What else? What else?
I've seen them until like we were talking before. I've seen until 5, but I haven't seen the last ones. So yeah.
Ooh. I want to hear your fresh perspective on those movies as you watch them, because it'll be interesting.
Okay.
What about you, Danny? What's your experience with this franchise? What are your thoughts on it?
Oh, you want to hear my origin story with Fast and
Yes.
Furious?
Go ahead, sir.
You want to know the tale? Okay, I'll tell you like this. So Tokyo Drift was the first one I ever saw like in the background of a party, and it looked pretty dumb, so I stopped paying attention to it. And then several years later, when Vin Diesel decided he wants to take hold of his career again and wants to make a quality product, I start to notice. I start to pay attention, and by that I mean my cousins forced me to go watch it with them because they're all like big car heads, and that movie's fucking awesome. I don't know if nobody talks about it enough, but the fourth Fast and Furious, it's like the second best one, really, for me. It has like a great combination of crime drama, Fast and Furious ridiculousness, weird villains, and probably Vin Diesel's best performance in the franchise, if I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, okay.
So
I haven't
that's
seen
my-
it in a long time.
And then from there, I enjoyed none of them until Seven. Seven, which was Paul Walker's last movie. You know, there's a lot of emotional stake there, I guess. But yeah, and I had
Okay.
never seen the first one.
So this is your first time
Until
watching
now.
this movie.
My first time watching Fast and the Furious was me at work, instead of working, watching it on my phone. By the way, just like a side by side, don't watch this movie on HBO Max. HBO Max has the worst player
Yes.
of all the streaming services.
Yeah, I watched it on HBO Max
If you
today.
have HBO,
It's terrible.
if you have HBO, watch it on Hulu. Like Hulu is a far superior player. Is
Oh, yeah.
what I'll close my statement on.
No, you're right.
All right. What about you, Nathan? What do you think? What's your experience on the franchise in this movie?
So I've had a weird road with this franchise. I remember. Get out of here, Dogget. Oh wait, no, I realized what I did there. Okay, you can. I'll allow it, Dogget. So I remember like being a kid in 2001. You know, you go into the lobby of at this time it would have been the Cinemark Tinseltown, which is one of the worst theaters in Kenosha, Wisconsin. There you go. You guys now know where I lived at one point. And, you know, going to go see the Grinch movie. Oh, what's this new movie? We got Fast and Furious coming out. There's an arcade game. I remember playing the arcade game a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Never watched the movie. Never watched the movie. I didn't even watch Too Fast, Too Furious, Tokyo Drift. And, you know, I didn't watch any of those. Around 2009, I started to become more of an active film watcher. I've always like digested movies, but I wasn't at the theater all the time. Around 2008, 2009, NOS Switch flipped on for me. I was seeing movies, digesting them. I heard Fast and Furious 2009 was really good, so I decided to watch them all leading up to it. And we'll talk about the first one and my feelings about it. But the first time I watched it, I thought that, as far as my action buck, like that, it satisfies it. It's just fast paced, like adrenaline rush. I've liked all the ones since then. It wasn't till Fast Five, though, where, I mean, Fast and Furious 4 could easily be the last film in the franchise. Like, you could end it there and that's fine. It felt like
True.
like one last ride sort of shit. Even though
Yeah.
they've been saying one last ride every film since then.
Right.
But then, I go to Fast and Furious or Fast 5 with this not necessarily an expectation, but like, it was April. This is when, like, I'm not sure if y'all remember this. Like, when we got summer movies, they were in May exclusively. Then we start getting into, like, all right, we're gonna release Fast 5 in April, and that shit did fucking gangbusters.
Yeah, that's right.
So, I saw it kind of like opening day, and holy shit, like the gears turned, and I felt like that, which we'll talk about later in the series, kind of retweaked everything that was working about the franchise and let go of a lot of the I would say car culture moments of it. Not that there isn't still a place for them in the later films. I would just say it's not nearly as focused on racing cars.
Yeah.
No,
I know this comes as no shock to anybody here.
That's true.
But
I mean,
yeah.
it's interesting. I did notice for this. I will get into it later. People complain like, oh, the later movies are not about racing, but even this movie doesn't.
This
race
movie's not
that
about
much.
racing.
Yeah, this
This
movie
is
doesn't
about
race that
races.
much. They only race like twice, maybe 3 times. That's really it. So people complain like this franchise doesn't race anymore.
One of them
like,
is just Letty
never did.
racing.
Yeah, Letty Racing, and one in the beginning, the big race was in the beginning. That was really it.
hmm
Do you count the cop chase as a race?
No.
no,
Yeah.
No.
This movie's really
Jesse
all
losing.
about cars.
Like
and-
Mario Kart rules, it's red and blue shells.
right? It's really just about loving cars and do some criminal underground stuff, which is still in the franchise. So I don't know what people are thinking about, but it made me realize after watching this movie, because I haven't seen this in a long time, like, oh yeah, wait a minute, like what are people talking about? This movie, it was never really about racing, but it does have that culture still in here. But my history with the franchise was I kind of knew about these movies. I seen a little bit here and there. I saw a little bit of Too Fast, Too Furious. I was saw a little The Fast and the Furious. Tokyo Drift was one of those. I'm like, I don't know about this movie. But the fourth movie, I didn't know that much either. But I remember the big movie that got me in was, I think Jose might know this too, like Fast Five was like the one that blew me up because it was most of it was filmed in Puerto Rico and was
Yeah.
fantastic. I was like, I was following that story close, like, oh shit, they're filming here, they're filming this corner right here. Holy shit, they're filming this
Isn't it set in
No,
this
you-
corner. Like, holy
You know, the funniest thing is that after it came out, we were like, oh, they're gonna mention Puerto Rico. They're so good. And all of a sudden Brazil. And I'm like, are you freaking serious?
Yeah, like, they're real the
You
whole
suck.
movie. I'm like, oh wow.
Oh man, why did you suddenly think
They're
people were
not
gonna start paying attention to Puerto Rico? What did you think that was suddenly gonna happen?
Man, I was like, oh, they don't mention this like our country at all. But hey, at least they have big reggaeton artists like Don Omar and Teo Calderon in the fucking movie. At least
Yeah.
they have that in there. So like, okay, I'm down with that. But yeah, after that, I was following the whole franchise, like when they came out of theaters, loving it. And then at some point, yeah, they came back to the earlier entries. But yeah, ever since Fast Five, I'm like, I'm in. I'm all in. So I'm a big, I don't say I'm a huge fan of this franchise, but I really love this franchise. But it's interesting to go back to this first movie, which we'll talk about right now, because I want to talk about some quick details on this movie. This movie is directed by Rob Cohen, which was also directed another Vin Diesel movie vehicle, the Triple X franchise, which is not as big. And they tried to be as big as this movie franchise, but no.
They tried to literally be Fast and Furious with the last
Yeah.
one. Now, mind you, I actually had seen Triple X before I saw Fast and Furious. So, like, my mentality, I actually do like Triple X a lot, but I'm a big Bond guy. And it's like, okay, so this is extreme sports James Bond. But, you know,
but what's the better one? Ice Cube or Vin Diesel?
Vin
Vin
Diesel.
Diesel.
Vin Diesel, yeah.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, like Vin Diesel maybe now in this era is like only able to really do action scenes if he's CGI or in a car. But there was something truly exciting about the Vin Diesel one, and every time Ice Cube like takes out a guard, it just cuts over to an obvious stunt double, and the movie's just not that good.
No, I mean I think the first one
He was the
is a lot.
Tyrese of the series.
It was like the first movie is a lot of fun, but I think the second movie with Ice Cube is a better movie. At least story wise, it's a little bit better, but it's not as fun as the first one. I think this movie's like that first one is ridiculous. That's just like I'm all in. I saw the third one.
I guess Willem Dafoe is the villain in the second one, so I guess I am kind of inclined to
Oh
agree with
shit, that's
you
great.
on that.
Holy
I was like mentally going through what do I remember about the plot. I'm like threat against the president, Willem Dafoe, and I guess that works. That is more surface level because I couldn't tell you shit about the villain.
Oh yeah, I even forgot that Willem Dafoe was in that movie. So there we go. But that was the other attempt of Vin Diesel trying to build a franchise until later on we see how that went out. But Rob Cohen, which
No love for Riddick?
oh yeah, Riddick. I forgot Riddick. Yes, Riddick is that's his second big franchise. Triple X is like here and there. I mean,
It wasn't that big, don't worry.
I mean, it is his second big franchise, but I think it is worth saying as far as the trajectory of this series, that was what was more on the forefront of his brain going into this. Like this was kind of like his like, yeah, fuck it, I'll drive some cars or whatever for a movie. And then he got really into Riddick, and the only way he would cameo in the third one, which we'll get into at that point, is if he got the rights to Riddick. So like Riddick is in his heart, and now that shit is like now Fast and Furious is his bread and butter, and he's
You gotta imagine the studio is like, oh, deal? Yeah, fuck yeah. Okay, yeah, you want Riddick? Okay, here. I want me to gift wrap that for you.
Because like I did find out like the thing that I found out this movie that he did after this movie he left the franchise. I'm like, I'm too good for this shit. I'll do Triple X and I'll do Riddick. I'll do all that stuff. I don't need Fast and Furious. Until he was like, shit. Can I get some more? Can I get some of that Fast and Furious action in there? I was kidding. I was kidding around, man. I was kidding. Let me back in there a little bit. Well, we'll get there in the third movie as we get into that. But
nothing worse than crawling back to your first job.
Right, it's like, hey, stop just kidding around.
Shit, that is kind of that.
Right? It is.
Okay.
It's really his big first movie. Although he was in Saving Private Ryan.
I do kind of have, Saving Private Ryan and then Iron Giant. But yeah, Fast and Furious is the thing that turned him into a star. I do have to say, I can talk about this. I was toying around with the idea of doing a Fast and Furious podcast for a while and lead up to this. But it just became too many plates spinning, and there are so few movies, so how do you keep that going? And I was looking to do interviews with the cast.
Oh,
and
fuck.
I've messaged people. I've gotten multiple interviews for my other podcast. Everybody is super open to talk about Mission Impossible and their experience on that. Fast and Furious, everybody fucking shuts that door right away. I'm talking like you can't talk to anybody really about it. There was one guy who I came close to talking to. Well, I'm not going to be on for the Too Fast, Too Furious one. You know that guy in Batman Begins who says, you don't like falafel? Or that guy? the he's in Memento. He's in a ton of Christopher Nolan movies. There's a scene in Too Fast, Too Furious where they put like a bowl with rats. That shit.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the one guy. That's the one guy who was like, yeah, I'd be interested. Let me know.
You should have done it.
Yeah, all right. Fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would have been cool though.
I got too many plates spinning.
Okay, I get you.
And it's like, what am I gonna bank my whole thing on Mark Boone Jr.'s?
You never know.
Damn,
soap opera star, you weren't expecting that.
Yeah, I mean,
they're really
I'm
tight
trying
with
to keep you guys on.
No, wow, they're really
from
tight
what I
with
hear,
franchise.
it is very much like have to, and this is all allegedly the family, so to speak, there kind of became a rift. I mean, that's pretty obvious with The Rock and Vin Diesel, where The Rock is like, we need to make these sort of crowd pleasing vehicles, and Vin Diesel and the rest of the family are like, all right, well, this is my meal ticket for like the next couple years, so I'm gonna just do whatever the fuck I want, and y'all are gonna film it, and I don't care if it's good because it's already gonna make this amount of money, allegedly.
Yeah, I heard
Yeah.
You
the
know,
same thing.
you know, it's actually not surprising. Like, look, like Sebastian, look, come on, you gotta admit, it's not surprising between the behavior between two light-skinned dudes. Like, that's just what's gonna happen. There's gonna be some territorial stuff, and there's just no compromising.
Oh, it was Tyrese too. Tyrese was beefing with both of them.
And
Oh
Tyrese is
yeah.
off his meds.
Oh, we'll get
He
to
was going
Tyrese
through
in
a
a
divorce.
It's not Tyrese's fault.
He was going through a divorce and he was losing custody of his kids. So he was going through some things.
The second you see Tyrese talking about how he wants to own Benihanas, but like the ones in his home, like that's was like, okay, you can't be mad at him.
Poor Tyrese, man. But we'll get Tyrese in the second movie as we introduce to this loving character, as we know as Roman. But I want to ask you
Can
guys,
say
like, because I
really
think
quick- Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, go ahead. What are you gonna say?
Oh no, I was just gonna like state really quickly. You were saying Vin Diesel like thought he was too good for this. To an extent, he kind of is. Like he's the best actor in the movie. He's actually okay.
Oh,
So this
whoa,
movie's
whoa.
ADR'd like to hell, right? Like
Oh yeah.
like it's just except for Vin Diesel. I don't know if he's just a great voice actor or they just didn't ADR his lines.
I didn't know
But,
ADR
like-
the shit. I honestly I didn't look up any IMDb trivia or anything. I'm just going off of my vibe.
Yeah, no.
No, I didn't notice.
I'm just saying he has the
Yeah.
best. He's the best performer in the movie.
His introduction is really good too, but we'll get into
Yeah,
that,
I'd have to
guess.
disagree a little bit with that, but I'll mention who I think was a little better. But I was gonna ask you guys, like, isn't Rob Cohen like recently got into trouble with something, right? Then he got accused of something. I thought I heard something.
I have no idea.
I thought I heard
Do-
something.
do-
about
Do,
Rob
do we
Cohen
want to
got
do the
into
quick
something.
research to
I
cut
think-
out?
I mean, I think I didn't do
I
my
don't want
research
to.
on
I
that
mean,
part.
like, I don't want to be like, yo, Rob Cohen directed the shit out of this movie, man. Why isn't he making more movies? Then find out he like diddled 8-year-olds or something like.
Let me see. I don't know.
I mean,
Why is this guy running Stranger Things?
to the
yeah.
audience out there, my
He-
knowledge, the
Yeah,
worst thing about
so-
Rob Cohen is that he made Mummy, Tomb of the Dragon Empire.
Yeah, he got accused 2 years
Yeah, he's
ago of
assault.
sexual
What do
assault.
you have, Sebastian?
He got accused 2 years ago of sexual
Fucker.
assault, so I knew I heard something.
No, you heard it here. Nathan said he loves the guy. He already said it. You can't cut it out.
So hey,
I mean, I never
Rob
said I
Cohen.
love the guy.
That it
So
was
fuck Rob
better than
Cohen.
Mission Impossible, his own podcast.
But
Anyways, guys, I'm canceled now, so I'm going to
he is
leave.
Nathan loves Rob Cohen. But no, like some quick facts. Like I
Nathan
thought this was-
Flynn says those sexual assault allegations were baseless.
We're-
Anyways, let's go back to Fast and Furious. No, I did not say that, everybody.
No,
Fuck
no,
Rob
no.
Cohen, allegedly. I don't know. I haven't read
No,
it.
fuck Rob Cohen. That's what I read. I was like,
Pick a
oh
side,
shit.
Nathan.
But like, what's interesting, I'm like,
God damn
like,
it.
what inspired him to do this movie was that he read a 1998 Vibe magazine article called Racer X about street racing in New York City. So he was like, "Oh, this is cool. I kind of want to make a movie about that." And so Roger Corman licensed the title rights of the Fast and the Furious from 1955, and just gave the title to him. Like, hey, fuck it, just do it. So he got Neil H. Moritz, who wrote a movie with Paul Walker, The Skulls, in 2000. And so they got on. And and who was going to be Dom Toretto? You know who was going to be Dominic Toretto? It was going to be
Tom Cruise.
Timothy Oliphant. Timothy Oliphant was going to be Dominic Toretto.
What?
Yeah.
But, you know, that tracks though. That tracks though, because you think about it. Previous summer he was just in Gone in 60 Seconds, and
Exactly.
then in Hitman and Live Free Die Hard. They were really trying to pimp him in the fucking Vin Diesel thing when they didn't realize they had Eastwood on
Well,
their hands.
what ethnicity is Dom? Like, what's his sister? I'm confused. Like what's
Some
John
parts of
Cena?
this
What's going
movie-
on in this franchise?
Racially
Some-
ambiguous. That's what he is.
Yeah, at some points this movie's like, oh, I think they're Italian.
Like, this
Well,
is the blackest he's looked in the entire
Have you guys-
franchise.
Have you guys ever seen the short film he directed, Multifacial?
No.
It's
No.
legit. Look this up because it's a really great short that he directed and he wrote it, and it was all about his experience trying to audition and not, being somebody who's biracial. I'm honestly unclear on which two races he is because I feel like it's ambiguous in everything I've ever seen. But he'll come in for Italian roles, he'll come in for more African American roles, and it's just him trying to find his own identity as himself and wanting to be his own person, but he keeps getting typecast into different stereotypes of different minorities. It's a great short film, and it has far more nuance than I would ever expect to talk about when Vin Diesel.
Like the casting director is like, well, we don't know who you are, but we're pretty sure you're not white.
Yeah.
I don't know
So,
what Vin Diesel
not
is.
an accountant.
But in this movie, he seems to be Italian. At least in this movie. That's what it looked to me.
Okay.
I don't know. Like, at least with Mia.
Someone
like,
froze, right? Seva?
Yeah, I think it's.
Oh.
Yeah,
Mary Fruits?
okay.
Am I good? Am I good now?
hate how
You're good
everybody
now.
looks when you're frozen. Like everybody else
Okay.
looks fucked up when they're frozen. You had a Tom Cruise smile.
Really? Fuck. Thank God you told me. I was gonna keep rolling. I'm like, fuck, let's go. But I
don't know.
I think Dominic Toretto's like Italian. In this movie. Later on, it changes. It
Toretto
changes in every movie.
certainly sounds like an Italian name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would assume that maybe there is a Latin upbringing as well, just based off of
Oh yeah.
his association. But I think what's
He's
great about
everything.
this franchise in general is that it is multiracial. Like family just means people who you're close to.
That's true.
Yeah.
Although in this movie, it's mostly white people, but we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
It does not have the
Sister's
ethnic
white.
stuff
Is
yet.
Tom's sister white?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a mystery. It's a mystery. But I want to talk about. Let's go through the plot because there's a lot of stuff I just wrote down. Like, holy shit, this movie is intense. Like, we immediately start with some badass and overly dramatic title cards and some late 90s, early 2000s music to let you know what the fuck you're getting into. If you don't know what you're gonna get into, this title cards and the music tells you where you are right now. Else I was like, holy shit, it has some flair to it. Like, oh my god. And the music's good though. The music I did like the music. I forgot what song was.
I was gonna say
I was
this
like, holy
fucking
shit.
soundtrack slaps, y'all.
It is good.
I mean, yeah, like that is honestly the star of this movie to me, more so than Vin Diesel, even more so than a lot of the racing scenes, because I think they get better as the movie goes on. But like the electronic score by BT is great, you know, and a lot of even obviously the source music, like fucking Molotov, fucking
Limp
Rage Against the
Bizkit.
Machine,
Limp Bizkit.
DMX, RIP.
That was
Oh, yeah, DMX.
That was terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
DMX and several. I was like, man. I was like, what a
Wait, was it
timing for
DMX or
this.
terrible?
They're both.
They're both in this, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, but
good.
it really does. It keeps the momentum going, and it actually makes this movie flow really well.
Yeah.
Even though, like, it is the most 2001 soundtrack.
Fuck
Like, that
yeah, I was
shit
like,
was-
damn.
Expiration date was that day, motherfucker. Like-
And even from the first minute, we see the big heist from this franchise. They're stealing DVD players and digital cameras, people. I'm like,
Man, don't make fun
God
of that. Don't make
damn.
fun of that. You know how much DVD players cost before the 2000s? That was $800.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying their heist, their business is not wrong. I'm
Man.
just saying, like, damn, like this is 2000.
You know something we can make fun of? The truck driver that wasn't doing nothing. Like he was just standing there
Yeah,
driving.
Yeah, dude, it's
Just
like,
like-
driver. No,
take everything.
this truck driver wasn't doing anything. It's weird. You look at the other villains in the other movies. In this movie, the final boss was a truck driver.
Right.
Yeah.
With a
It was like,
shotgun.
it was interesting. Yeah, but yeah, I noticed immediately the first truck driver who was just standing there, just like, all right, just take my DVD players. I don't care.
Yeah,
I'm like,
can't
okay.
I was like, dude, can't you just stop? There's no car behind you, so what?
right.
What are you doing, man?
it was interesting. I was thinking, like, where do these people get these high-tech spy gadgets like grappling hooks and shit? Like, where the hell these thugs get this equipment? Like, what the fuck?
Gotta be.
I guess I'm like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. I'm like, all right, I'm all for this thing. And the first heist was interesting. It was sort of anticlimactic because I thought it was gonna go long after like they go through this construction site. I'm like, oh shit, this is gonna go gonna go hard, and then we're done. I'm like, oh, okay. You could have got a little longer if you wanted to, but that's all right. I mean, what do you guys think of this first
It
true heist?
introduces you to the world though really well.
It truly does.
Sorry. I think it does the good job of introducing you to the world that they live in.
Into
everything,
the ugly ass cars.
You know Dominic's route. What I find really interesting is I can't think of many franchises that are literally centered around like criminals who are straight up criminals.
Yeah.
And I mean, now they're superhero criminals, but you know, like it is interesting, and I like how they introduce the world via that first heist. The glow underneath the cars, well, they're underneath that the large pickup truck. You know what I'm talking about? The large truck.
Well,
it's visually just interesting and cool.
I don't want to take the wind out of your point, but there is another movie that came out right before this.
Point Break.
Yeah,
right.
Semi-point
break.
It's like
this
literally
is
the exact same thing.
Yeah.
This is Point Break. This is Point Break meets Gone in 60 Seconds, but it takes the Gone in 60 Seconds aspect bigger than Gone in 60 Seconds ever could.
Oh,
and it doesn't have the weird thing of Nicolas Cage with Angelina Jolie, which I could never even wrap my head around.
I mean, there's something similar in this movie, which I'll talk about.
Way worse than Nicolas Cage.
There's something similar in this movie. I'll talk about that. But yeah, that first heist was cool. I wasn't as exciting as I wanted to be, but it was a cool setup. Like, okay, this is where we at. This is who.
Well, can I ask a quick question, really quick?
Yeah.
That green car looks ugly, right?
Oh, the green the lighting. Oh yeah, the black car.
Paul Walker's first car. That green.
The Paul Walker's first car. Yeah, it looked. I didn't mind it. I didn't think about it when I first saw the cars. Like,
okay, do these cars 20 years later? Do these cars look appealing to anyone?
Oh, 20 years later today,
ones.
maybe not.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, the black ones maybe,
Not the Eclipse, not the green one.
No, wait, no, the Eclipse never.
The 10-second car towards the end of the movie is the one that appeals to me.
Yeah, the Supra and some of the RX-7s are still.
But yeah,
all these cursed other car ones that he said was cursed, and then you find out at the end, oh shit, this thing is cursed.
I mean, this is all 2001, like vomiting in your face.
It's so 2000, like as you said, we do see the character of, as we call him in the beginning of the movie, Brian Spillner, who's in the car just trying to prove something. We don't know what exactly. He's trying to go so fast.
Yeah.
Even the camera couldn't keep up with him. It's like, shit, he's going too fast. I'm shaking everywhere. I can't keep up with the car. I was like, shit.
I was gonna say the exact same.
Brian Spillner. That sounds like a pedophile's name. Are you a pedophile, or I can't remember what the line.
You're like a serial killer.
Get out of my shop.
I love it. Like that's the go-to Vin Diesel, but in this movie, he's actually very coherent.
Yeah.
In all the other ones, it seemed like the more
he doesn't do that
he
until 5. He doesn't do his weird like throat gurgle.
No, he's a little weird in this movie. There's some stuff he does in this movie. Like,
he does it in the 5th one. That's when he starts to do it. That's when he has the neck starts to collect.
He's a charisma machine in this movie. Like, I guess you're gonna get into the intro to him in general, but the way how he's lit the entire time, where you're just seeing him from behind, is fucking awesome. It's a great
awesome.
entrance to the character.
It is so cool. Like, but like before we get to that, like we find out that he's driving and he failed whatever he was trying to succeed. We don't know what at that point. But then we cut to like to some more yellow heat tint to let you know how fucking hot Los Angeles is. It's so hot that it's yellow. And some more early 2000s music. I'm like, oh shit, we're still let you know 2001, it's here. And we find
actually
go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I just think something interesting to think about with this movie is it's written by David Ayer, the same year that he sort of blew up with Training Day.
Wait, David
and
Ayer
now you look
movie?
at like where David Ayer's David Ayer wrote this movie.
He's one of the writers.
It kind of felt a little
he's
bit
one
like
of the
David
writers
Ayer's
on it, but you can feel his touch all over this. And I mean, obviously David Ayer is now a different director than
holy shit. Yeah, I felt some stuff
than he was beforehand, but he's certainly like fucking. I'm immediately going to. It's set in LA. There's gonna
Yeah,
be
that's
crime influence. We're gonna have a lot of Latin gangsters.
Oh
like-
yeah.
Right. That's what it felt. I felt
Yes.
an LA vibe. I'm like, oh shit, this feels like a little bit David Ayer. but I
Half
didn't
the
know he wrote
dudes are
this movie.
sleazy bastards.
Oh my
So,
god! Right.
all right, what's your take on a new Harry Potter film, David Ayer? He'll be
What
like,
is
all
what
right,
is okay? What does
so
the
it's
guy
set in
say?
LA.
What does the guy say to Dom's sister that is just like so foul and it is like, you remember this is Dom's sister, right?
You're right. Like, yeah, we do meet his Mia Toretto, who works at the restaurant that we never mention ever again in the movie. He's like, oh, they had a restaurant. Remember that? Oh, okay. And didn't even mention it
Well,
later on in the
tuna
movie.
sandwiches weren't
You
great.
saw how they treat their customers. That
Did
restaurant
anyone
wasn't gonna
notice
last.
Yeah,
that
right.
the tuna sandwich was made like in 10 seconds?
Yeah. It's like it's your sandwich just turns and here you go. It's like,
I mean,
where'd you get that from?
I
Nobody
mean,
comes
to
to
be,
tuna
to
salad.
be fair, somebody who makes sandwiches every day, tuna sandwiches are easy as fuck to make.
I mean,
And it's
that's why they
assuming
taste so
if they
bad.
sucked. Yeah, I'm like,
There was
if,
no
if they were really
refrigeration in that
rushing it, 10
restaurant.
seconds would be exactly the amount of time to fuck up a tuna salad.
Exactly. Like if it tastes so bad, that's why they make it so fast. Like it just sucks. But we find out that Brian's been stalking Mia for 3 weeks. I mean, well, later on we find out he's not stalking, but I was like, yeah, he's stalking Mia for 3 weeks. That's interesting. And we saw that in the mysterious glow introduction from Dom, like her brother, who's like just skulking
You
in
say
the back.
stalking, restaurant workers say regulars.
Oh god, dude, that gets far too fucking real. But yeah, What I like is he's almost lit like it's a fucking scene from The Godfather. Like he's
That
just
was
like
awesome.
Yeah.
from behind. They got the little like blinds and everything, and there's like a skirmish going on, and he never turns his head. He just listens, observes, which is crazy because Dominic Toretto might be like my 5th favorite character in the franchise now, but he has like the most badass introduction of anybody.
Dude, he was awesome. He's just like standing. You only see the back of his head for like a while. I'm like, oh shit, like who is this guy? Like this guy's mysterious. He
Very
gives me-
Marcellus Wallace. in
Yes,
Pulp
that's what
Fiction.
I was
Yeah.
thinking about.
yeah, he's just-
Yep.
Pulp Fiction.
it was
That's when
awesome.
Vin Diesel used to bother. Wait,
Now we're not going to talk about the third act rape scene, right? Where where Paul Walker has to save him with a katana.
oh my god.
Oh shit! Yeah, oh, shit. I just looked at that, but I mean, it's
I'm about to get medieval on your ass.
But yeah, we see
About to give
Mr. gonna
medieval
be
on your
in
ass.
pain for the rest of his fucking life.
we see like Brian and Mia interact a little bit. We see that relationship blossoming a little bit as they met for the past 3 weeks, and then we meet the crew. Which the thing, this is the crew that we start the franchise. I'm like, holy shit, we meet Letty, Jesse, characters like Leon, memorable as fuck, and Vince, the badass motherfucker Vince, who's always mad at Brian and everybody.
Vince, the person who they're really trying to make you remember in later films, then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
I was like, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Like, he had that scar because like the end of that movie ended that way.
Ryan's like, oh, who's this guy again? Oh yeah, I remember seeing that movie the first
Oh,
time.
you
Like,
mean the
who's
guy
this
that
guy?
called Paul Walker out the first moment he saw him. Like, wait a
Yeah,
minute.
I was like, wait a minute, this
You're
guy's sketchy as fuck.
Extremely blonde and blue-eyed to be staying here.
I was like, I
There's
love
no
how
ocean here. What the fuck is going on?
I love how Vince came out of nowhere. He's already mad at Brian. Like, what the fuck are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here! Like, well, dude, he's just a customer. He's giving us money. Like, is it weird? Like, he's here. Yeah, it's a little weird. He's going every single week, almost every day. But hey, he's giving us money. Like, at least appreciate that shit. But no, Vince is like, get
I
the
mean,
fuck out of here.
Vince has it like he's got the fucking dick wet eyes for Mia.
Yeah, that's what it
Right,
was.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's so.
Yeah, so like he's moving in on Mia, and you know he's like, no. If anybody's gonna stand from afar and be scared of Vin Diesel, too scared to make a move, it's gonna be me, motherfucker.
Right? And I love Dom's like reaction the whole time. He's just looking serious, not doing anything yet, but he knows like, man, don't test me because I will do shit. But I just love his like his stance. He's just serious. Like he can kick some ass. But
Yeah, he's calm and he's composed. I mean, he's always had that throughout the entire franchise. It just
Oh,
gets
yeah.
a little bit boring as the
Right.
movies go on.
Yeah.
But what do you guys think of like this crew that we have starting out, like with Jesse, Leon? Like, what do you guys like this crew, or what do you guys think about the gang?
There's a crew?
Yeah, like Leon. You got Jesse.
I mean, this is a crew. In the other films, it's family.
There is family. This is the crew, man.
You don't really get to know any of them.
Not really.
It's mostly Vin Diesel, Paul Walker, his sister.
Yeah,
I mean, we do know some stuff.
because
We do know some stuff from Jesse, but Leon gets like, he's just here.
Jesse and Leon kind of blend together.
Yeah, kind of.
It's not
I
like-
mean, Jesse has
Like there's
some characteristics.
There's so little Michelle Rodriguez in this movie that I'm
Yeah.
surprised
Yeah,
they make
right,
a big
surprisingly.
deal about her death in the fourth movie.
And holy shit, dude! The
Right.
moment she gets out of the car, I'm like, oh my gosh, she's late '90s, early 2000s. Like,
Think about
get
that.
up.
That's how they have to make her character important. They have to pretend to kill her.
Right.
I mean,
And then bring
That's
But
what
the
they do with
outfit is-
soap
yeah.
operas all the time. But they do like I mean, this movie's a bromance at its core. It's Point
yeah.
Break. It's, you know, it is, as Henry said, yeah, it's very Point Break. So
Mhm.
everybody else is very tertiary, including Letty and characters who are more important later on.
Yeah,
But it
yeah. Letty's just there to look
this
mean.
crew is
and-
just a crew. What's the name of the? I'm totally like. You said all the names, and I'm bad with character names in general.
So
They
Leon is the
completely
bland-
eviscerated. That one dude.
Leon is the blandest character of the
Yeah,
crew.
Leon
the
just-
guy who's just the walkie-talkie guy.
Who's the
That's all he does.
ADHD kid?
That's
That's Jesse.
That's Jesse.
Jesse. Okay, yeah. Jesse has a little bit of character. Although
Yeah,
I
he
thought
does.
he was about to say, "I'm sorry, I got," and then he said, I thought he was about to say autism. And I've seen this movie a million times. And I was like, "Oh shit, I forgot he had autism." And he's like, "No, I got attention deficit disorder." I'm like, "Shit, we all got that, dude. Shut
Right.
the fuck up."
Yeah, I thought also that he had autism.
Yeah, he just has ADHD, which
was like,
he
damn,
gets
that's just-
into
they got-
like in his backstory. But yeah, this crew.
But that
Yeah, it's
sort
pretty
of
tertiary
speaks
for
to
sure.
how I feel about the characters because yeah, they're very tertiary, but that speaks to how I feel about the crew. That I invented a better backstory for them in me just waiting for them to finish a sentence than was written in the actual screenplay. And I say this movie is worth your time, guys, especially if you're action movie fans. If for some odd reason you haven't seen this movie and you're watching this is weird, but you know,
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, this is not the same crew you'll get later on in the movies. Like,
No, that's
like, he
what's
makes a
so
point of
interesting
that,
about
like,
this crew.
He's like, you guys fucking left me, and they're like, we're fucking criminals. Why are you bitching right now? It's every man for himself, and the cops come.
Right? That's what's so interesting about this crew
Yeah.
because we really two of those crew members we really don't mention, especially one of them, which I'll talk about at the end. But it's what's so interesting about this initial crew from this movie because like wow, to think like this is where we started with. Like even Letty was here and she was there just to look mean and get those like early 2000s get up looking hot as hell and all that stuff, which is awesome and stuff. And Vince wearing his little what the hell was he wearing? He was wearing like some
The fish mail.
yeah, some like Water
Oh my
World
God,
Kevin
yeah.
Costner outfit. Like, okay, this is interesting.
You
I
know
like
what?
that.
Dogget brought up something that is interesting in retrospective, looking back at this, and especially paralleling it with the thing that I podcast about, Mission Impossible. This does kind of have that same growing pains that came through that, where like, you know, Mission Impossible, at least the TV show, which we mainly cover, is about the team. And then eventually the movie sort of had to realize, oh, this isn't just the Tom Cruise show. This isn't just the Paul Walker, Vin Diesel show. This is like, we're going to build a team and, you know, obviously take characters that we like from all the movies and switch them in and out. And to Doggett's credit, like this team does not stay because it's not stable. And the movies really weren't about the team to begin with. And
No.
looking at it, if we're able to like parse out every team that is assembled, there really isn't one until arguably the fourth film, but I would say mostly the fifth.
Nah, in the fourth film, Dom still has like a lot of edge to him. Like, oh, that's Dominic Toretto. That's the guy I put away.
Right. It was for sure because this movie's really about Dom and Brian. This is their movie, their romance, their bromance, their relationship. That's really what the core of this movie is.
Okay.
It gets more
This movie's
romantic
about
next
Brian.
episode that you guys.
Oh
Too
yeah.
Fast, Too Furious is pretty much Brokeback Mountain.
Oh, for sure.
It is.
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, look at this.
Holy
Like,
shit.
You saw how hard
the
Tyrese
first time they meet each other, they're
You thought
having a
that was acting?
sweaty battle.
That's,
It's basically the first act of Moonlight.
oh,
You might as well just be like,
that's
boy,
true.
you are hard, you know?
You know, as this is my first installment in the franchise, like watching this for the first time, there's like a really ignorant part of me that is like waiting for them to like tie in Han to that other gang or something. Like I thought we were gonna get an introduction.
Oh, not
I
yet.
don't know
no.
why.
No, we're not even,
I'm aware,
we didn't
Nathan. I'm aware.
We didn't even think about that back in the day. We
Can I
didn't even
just
have
say,
that
Dogget,
idea.
that puppet is sure making you white.
Nathan,
Saying
that
that as a white man.
But I mean, yeah, the crew for sure it's pretty not that memorable, but we do see some stuff from Vince, who immediately again just starts being an asshole. He's like, for example, like Mia's just asking like, what do you want to eat? He's just like, you look good. I'm like, wow, Vince, you're just a fucking asshole. And then he just starts to beat up Brian, blurt out some really offensive derogatory words, the F word. I'm like, holy crap, man, P13, all right. So after that, they start fighting with some more advanced clothing, Billabong like music. I'm like, oh shit, this is like raw 2000s movie right here. This is
actually, fun fact: pre-2000s, if you said the F word, you actually got a PG rating.
really, yeah.
No, what?
I mean that's
No.
the thing. Like the other F word. Like try watching Monster Squad. That movie is filled with it, and it's like nobody's thinking about it. I mean, it's awful. But yeah, we weren't very woke in 2001 to say
No.
the
Mentioned
least.
that part.
Yeah,
Nathan had an Xbox account. He knows.
but like I was surprised. I was caught up when he said that word. I was like, oh shit, all right. I did not expect that to be said.
I was caught off when they said the N word actually.
Oh yeah, later on I was
you
like,
mean that
oh
lady?
shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
look. Oh, I was gonna say I wasn't aware that line was from this movie. Like when she like puts his hand on her chest, it's like, this
Yeah.
is yours.
Right? But
Yeah,
if
this,
you win,
this movie's
you get
memed a
hurt.
lot.
What do you say?
I said this movie is another movie. It's interesting to be watching when it's a movie that's been memed a lot, and you go back like, oh, is that where that came from?
Wait, is this,
oh yeah,
is
there's
this
some
the
moments.
origin of FUN word? Is this the origin of that, or is there like a precursor to that line?
No, I think this is the one. I think the one that you're talking about is from this movie. That's what people.
Yeah, there's some memes in this movie. But yeah, that F word, I was like, holy shit, I did not expect that. But that's when Mia urges her brother to show his authoritative presence. Like, hey, Dom, all right, you look cool and like all smug and shit, but it's time to exert your authoritative presence right here. So it just comes out of nowhere, like just tries to take Vince out or Vince, sorry. And so like, oh, your brother's name's Brett Spillner? That's like a serial killer name or whatever he said. Like I was like, all right, this
Damn, that was
humor, I
good.
guess.
Keep doing that.
Keep practicing.
But-
Maybe you could release a debut album that would confuse everybody in 2020.
Thank you. I'll surprise if I need to be in season 4 of Spy Racers, just call me up. Vin Diesel doesn't need to do it anymore. I got
Keep
this.
practicing.
Wait
If
for
you ever
Iron
gotta do,
Giant 2,
like,
yo.
Iron Giant 2, hey,
if they ever need
get
somebody
me
to
on
voice
with
the
that.
Iron Giant in a video game, they'll call you.
But that's when he also
Wait, give me
threatened-
an I am Groot.
I am Groot.
I knew.
That's baby Groot. That's for the movie.
You,
But that's
if
when
you guys have
Dom.
not seen that video,
Oh, what
if
video?
you've not seen that video of Vin Diesel hitting on that Brazilian reporter, it's one of the cringiest things you'll ever see from the Triple X Xander Cage thing.
Yeah.
The entire time he must have been on like ecstasy or something. Like Vin Diesel's pretty cringy when it comes to all of his press release shit, but for Xander Cage, there's like this attractive Brazilian reporter, and the entire time she'll be asking him a question, you know, your typical question like, how'd you first get on this project? And he's just like, oh, you're so fucking sexy. How am I gonna do this interview? Like,
Oh.
what is this? What am I being
Oh.
punked right now? Like, what's going on? Like, he goes the whole thing, but he tries to like seduce her by saying, I am Groot. It's
Oh, god. I'll play that for
Y'all need
Fast
to look
5.
this up after.
That's 'cause
I'll
we
play
know
that
it's
for
working
Fast
before, that's why.
5. Jesus Christ.
You want to hear a little bit? He would be trying to use I am Groot to get laid.
Hey man, he is. Oh no.
You know, whoever did the voice
embarrassing.
for ET probably used it too. Like ET, phone home.
Phone home. Hey, he probably got a lot of numbers back in the
ET,
80s.
phone number.
Phone number. Oh my god, dog. I'll play that video. when
Anywho,
we get
I'm
to
sorry,
Fast
I'm bringing
5.
this all up.
No, you're good. I'll play that video when it's like once we get to Fast 5. You know, it seems
Yeah,
worth
yeah,
it for
get to that
Brazil.
area.
You know, but yeah, as we find out, as also Dom threatens Brian's work with Harry. He's just like, I'll call Harry to get you're not gonna work there anymore. You're fired. Brian's like, shit, man. I'm just trying to get some tuna sandwich. So he returns back to Harry's. And where Harry also
You
runs
went
like
full
illegal street
white with
racing.
Paul Walker. I just
Yeah,
gotta
right.
say, like, I could see
Hey,
you
man.
spraying some mayonnaise out the side of your mouth as you were saying that. I just need to get my
Yeah,
tuna
man.
sandwich, guys.
I need to get my tuna sandwich, guys. But apparently, Harry also runs in illegal street racing while also runs an auto shop. I'm like, okay, what the fuck is going on here? But he's really,
Hey, what plot element have you just made up in your head?
you know, Harry, the guy that he works for, Brian works for this auto shop, because you know he's all.
I don't think Harry sets up the races. I think he just runs a shop.
Because he was distraught. I'm like, oh man, you need to be chill, you know, because Dom is like the golden child. He's a good racer. People love Dom, like his car specs and every shit. Like, you need to calm your shit down. You know, you're gonna make sure he doesn't come back with us anymore. So Brian's like, whatever. He's like, what did he say, man? What did he say? Until he figures out what he needs to do to be in the good races of Dom. He needs to win that race. He needs the NOS. He needs two of them, actually. He needs two of the NOSes. So that's where we're introduced to the elements of the nitros, or as we call them, the NOS, NOS. And so, I mean, that's a question. Is NOS was or is sold regularly in stores like that, like in display and like
I
that?
think he's mostly does internet stuff. I don't know if like he
I don't
does,
know,
like,
'cause-
the radio or anything.
Because in the movie they had like tanks in that store, just tanks filled with NOS, just being displayed for people to buy. I'm like, is that a thing back in the day? Or I don't know. I'm not a car enthusiast, so I don't know if that was a thing. But
I mean,
It was a thing because I don't remember if it's because this movie popularized it or if it had like a small circuit like back in LA or something. I just know all the people 6 to 8 years older than me became such fucking douchebags after the series came out. Just driving like obnoxious bastards. Like just the most whatever was the extra they could do. Like I had my cousin. My cousin handed me a megaphone that was connected to his sound system, and he would have me blast that shit out his window.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
That's
Nah,
funny.
this movie made a lot of people that we do not like, but especially after this upcoming scene where we're introduced to the big thing element of this movie, which is the racing. You know, we see these illegal, like this event, like the music. We see the slick cars. We see the hot babes. You know, we see all that shit in this one illegal
ever.
scene that everybody reunites and is having fun. And I noticed in this scene, I was like, all right, this movie's telling me I cannot take this shit seriously when you play Limp Bizkit over a scene like this. If you're playing Limp Bizkit like that, I can't take you seriously anymore because you don't come off as tough for me. like what was that song they put like? Watch out, get that down, roll it, roll
No,
it, roll it, roll it.
They were
roll it."
playing. Yeah, they were playing rolling.
I was like, all right, I can't take this
Hey,
criminal
we
underground
don't
scene.
besmirch Limp Bizkit in the presence of somebody who has talked about Mission Impossible 2 more than I ever thought I would.
I just, man, that.
I'm just fucking with you. Fuck
I
Limp
say like
Bizkit.
they could have sold me that scene better with another song, but Limp Bizkit. I mean, like, all right, I can't take this criminal.
I mean, it was top notch at the time, you know.
Yeah.
No, I guess it was hot, but they also play. You said you also play some DMX music. It was like, you know, unfortunate timing, but I was like, wow, man, it's a good music.
We're
man. DMX
fortunate
is good
timing. I
music.
mean, we're respecting his entire career, and you know, this was, I mean, a big step up for him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, for sure.
DMX aged way better than Diesel did.
But it was curious because they played that one song. I don't know if he made it for the movie or not, but he actually DMX said like too fast, too furious. I'm like, was that for this movie or what? That was coincidence.
He
If it
just
was
looks
not,
into like franchise music, like X gonna give it to you.
yeah, right. It's like okay, like if that
Wasn't
was a
he even
coincidence. It's great.
straight up in Triple X 2, right? He was straight up in that.
Oh, I
Oh,
think he
Was he
was in that
not?
movie.
I
I
thought he
think
was a side character.
that
I
was
think
time
he
was in a
was.
lot of movies, so
No,
Yeah,
he made
yeah.
a lot of good soundtracks for movies like Deadpool. Obviously, he
Or
did it.
Rudolph.
He did a lot of. Well, what was that? Was that? How's that? That song was Danny? Can you sing it for us?
What? I think that's like the first verse. Rudolph,
And they said
that
some.
nose reindeer.
And
I
then
can't sing. I can't do
then
it.
follow up.
I actually do like that. I played that during the season.
Let's follow up with some more N words, which we're not gonna say right here in this channel. But we're introduced to one of the biggest characters in
We
the
are far too light
franchise.
skinned to do that.
No, we're not gonna say that. But we're introduced to one of the biggest characters in the franchise, of course, Hector, played by Hector, who was also played Hector in The Dark Knight and played Hector. I don't know his real name, but I think
He's
it's
either Hector or Cholo number 2 in every movie. He was also
Yeah.
in Training Day.
Yeah, he
which
was
is what I
in
remember.
Oh yeah,
him
it
as.
was
Number two.
Bruce
He-
Almighty.
he-
He's
Government
Smiley,
gangster?
right? Or is Smiley, what's his name? I can't remember the dude's name. Who was able to play every race.
Right, he played.
Look, it's one thing to like use your same
Chris
name all
Curtis.
the time, but why are you using that same flannel shirt?
Oh,
I mean- He found something and it stuck. Shit, if I ever do that Fast and Furious podcast, he'd be a really
Oh my
interesting dude to talk to.
What if he has the flannel shirt in like a glass case? What if like he has his mustache and his like little like soul patch in there too?
dude, like he wore the same flannel shirt the whole movie, didn't he? I think he did. We changed it up a little bit, like
Yeah.
a little bit of tone of colors, but it was the same shirt. I was like, God damn! But I love once he came around, I was like, I don't know, I like Hector, at least the character. He was cool. He just came out, kind of confrontational with Brian, but he's still a cool guy. He just wants to see his scar specs. Like, hey, what you got in the hood? Like, are you gonna maybe make you pull the hood up? And Brian's like, hey man, don't worry about it. I'll show you my specs. And then oh shit. Ja Rule is in this movie, people. Ja Rule is in this movie. I forgot that he was in here. I thought he was in the second movie. I was like, oh shit, he's here. And wow, he he says some sage advice like, it's not how you stand by your car, it's how you race it. You better learn that. Thank you, Ja Rule. I appreciate that sage advice. That was incredible. I needed that. So also I noticed this, like apparently just being white in this kind of scenario just stands you out. People already looking at you like, what are you doing here? You're a cop. I was like, man, white people can race as well illegally.
What are
Why
you
can't
talking
they do that?
about?
Like when Brian's just being there, people just like looking at him like, what the fuck is this dude being here?
That joke didn't even get.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were like seriously defending that point, but I just thought it was weird. Like they just kept looking at him like, what's he doing here? The surfer guy, like, why can't he? Like, he just wants to race, man. Like, white people can race, white people can jump too. But oh shit,
They say we can't dance. I'm a great dancer. No,
Right.
I'm not gonna get into that hole.
No, I still thought it was funny. Like, man, come on, like, let them race. Let's let them have fun. But we also see the Dom crew arrive. They're they're the big shits of the racing scene. People are like, oh shit, it's Dom. We can't beat Dom. Dom's too fast for us. His car's the best. And well, also funny is like this is the first time we see him wear his black tank top, which that means only two things. He's either he's here for business and he's serious, or he's sad and he's mourning. And he's not here for mourning people.
Or he's about to get married.
Or he's about to get married. Oh, was it that white
Yeah.
shirt? I thought that was
It was,
white
it was
shirt.
the white shirt. I always will forever remember the fact that is fucking ridiculous.
Right? It was like he wore the black shirt for this occasion, but he's not mourning people. He's here for business. He's here to steamroll these people in this race. And I saw this scene, like this next one, which is interesting because I want to ask you guys this question, like, because you see this like Dom is so hot apparently that these two women just approach him immediately, and he's holding him around the waist. He's like, hey, 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 what's up? And the lady's like, I smell skanking here. And so, rushes them out. And so I want to ask you guys this question because this relationship between Dom and Letty is interesting because, like, they're not technically an open relationship, but Dom is able
What are you
to.
talking about? They're ghetto together.
But it's like he can flirt and have sex with other women, but at the same time he cannot.
Okay, he's not flirting. He's not having sex with other women. What are you talking about?
Well, he said.
Can
Oh,
we
he did
just
say.
point
I
out
was
that this is
I
a
was just
hallmark of Vin Diesel's entire career.
right.
Like, if he is like the star vehicle thing, he's fucking everybody in this series. Like, shit, we forget, and I'm sorry to bring up a later film, but I think it makes for a
Yeah, go
perfect
ahead.
point.
Yeah.
We forget that Gal Gadot was giving him the hard eyes for a second.
Yeah.
Oh
And
yeah.
the entire time, like, I mean, one of my favorite line reads ever, and I'm only gonna say it because I'm not on the episode, and it's a great line read where she's like, "Are you one of those men who respects cars more than he respects women?" He's like, "I'm the kind of guy who can appreciate a fine body regardless of the make."
Oh
Oh my God, I remember that line.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
If you've seen Triple X Return of
Oh,
Xander Cage, it is
God.
basically a Vin Diesel wank job, hand job to himself.
Ugh.
It's like,
You know-
okay, where are we setting this up? And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do a cool trick, and then I'm gonna be in a bed with a ton of women. And that's it.
Yeah.
And then there'll be a girl who just turned 18 and she's into me.
Oh,
and then
dude,
this
it was
character's gonna be a
odd.
stoner girl who's also into me.
It was so
And this
odd.
girl starts off as a lesbian, but then I convert her.
Oh god.
And now she's a cop, but she's driven by the idea that I may be misunderstood by the police force. And sorry, my voice is getting awful doing
No,
this.
you go.
But then she comes around, and then she has sex with me, and then she dies.
Okay.
I'm
By those
just saying.
terms,
Yeah.
probably Dominic Toretto is probably the character who at least acts on that at the very least. Like, I'm
No,
saying, like,
that's the whole thing about Vin Diesel in this franchise. Everybody wants to fuck him, but he hardly ever gives up that dick because he's just too good. You know, it's just this whole thing. Yet he's somehow like the Genghis Khan
Okay,
of this universe where he's
I
fucking
refuse-
everybody. He's probably got 1 million children.
I refuse to not acknowledge this. Okay, especially because how big the pairing is in like Asian countries. There is something to be said about the relationship between Dom and Letty. So you're saying how weird it is, Sebastian. That's just like relationships that I saw all the time in my neighborhood. Like the dude in the wife beater who like apparently is not actually a wife beater. And his kind of fucked up psycho girlfriend. Like there's a scene in this movie where Michelle Rodriguez, like the camera goes to her and her face is just doing this.
I just want to take
For no
this second of
reason.
the podcast to say, apropos of nothing, that Vin Diesel and Paul Giamatti are the same age, and I just like to remind people of that from time to time. So there you guys go.
Paul
shit.
Giamatti's aging pretty well, actually.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years.
Anyways,
But-
so the straight
I
face.
Yeah, but it's just that relationship is. I mean, if it's an open relationship, it's like that's cool. But it's like he wants to fuck everybody, but
what
Letty
makes
will
you
not
think
let
he's
him.
fucking?
No.
Wait,
What
what?
makes you think
Yeah.
he's fucking, Sebastian?
Dude,
No, because like, dude, he literally is flirting with those two women until she stops them. And he's like,
He
hey,
did
I
not
was,
get
I was
any closer to them than Keanu Reeves would.
what, dude? He was holding him through the waist. He was like, hey, 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 hey. I was just talking to them. I was just
Yeah,
talking to
I
them.
think it was like more of a machismo stuff. Like, hey, I'm this guy. I'm this
Wait,
big
Vin
guy.
Diesel and Machismo?
Yeah, together. They
Nothing
basically
more.
go together, man.
That man
Dude, like-
who had a shot positioned between him and The Rock to make it seem like they're even a similar size.
Yeah.
Oh my god! But dude, even later in
Man.
the movie, like in this party, he asked Leon, like, "Hey, so who's the girls around here?" And it was like, "Dude, your girlfriend is like right there, like right next to you. Like, what the fuck?" He wants to fuck
But
everybody.
man
it's the
whose
thing with
ego
him.
is-
Every relationship's an
the man
open
whose
relationship.
ego is
when
so
you got that
big.
dick.
The man's ego is so big that him and The Rock both have contracts saying that they cannot lose in a fight.
No.
And yet in Fast 5, they pretty much frame it that he wins the fight.
Yeah.
Man, I
Yeah.
just Dom in this movie with women, like that relationship with Letty I was like, okay, this is interesting. I
Oh, you'll
don't
get
really
into
know
it
what's going on.
later on.
Oh, yeah,
you've
it's like, I
seen
don't
them all.
know.
You know,
It's like, what
there's
the
a lot
hell?
to discuss when we get to Fate of the Furious.
Oh shit, yeah, we'll get to that. But after that, whatever happened with Letty, that was weird. But then he talks to Hector and Edward, who is played by Ja Rule, would talk about the rules of the race, like 2 laps, winner takes all. And then they said that the pool of money and everything, but Brian doesn't have money. Brian doesn't have money, so he said like, hey, I'll present the big element of this franchise, pink slips. I'll print my pink slips. You'll take my car if you win. And also, he wants to win that respect. I want respect more than anything. And everybody's like, what the fuck, respect? And Dom's like, really, you want that shit? And Brian's like, hey, respect means some people it means a lot, so I want that respect. So like, all right, cool, whatever. And apparently Mia also lost that bravado because Mia's looking at him like, oh shit, like this guy's kind of hot. I like Brian's like that stance right there. Like I like him. And so Jesse inspects Brian's car. He says some car jargon that I don't know. He's like, oh, you got this NOS. Blah, 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 blah. I'm like, what the hell is he saying? I don't know. And apparently he spent $10,000 on this car specs. Like, who the fuck does that? Like, is that a thing? Does people
Well,
spend?
the police did.
Oh, right. Because he's like, oh, you spent like over $10,000.
$70,000 car.
Oh yeah, like 80,000, I think, like 80,000. Like the cop later on says, like,
Which
oh,
is
80,000, yeah.
Which is very
Holy
possible.
shit.
That is
We,
a real number.
we didn't talk about his
Shit.
chief of police, which I always
Oh
forget
man.
until I rewatch this movie, is Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs.
Oh
which
yeah, dude. I
is-
noticed. I was like, yes.
It's like
awesome.
it's the only other typecasting he can have besides creep. It's like he's either a creep or he's the chief of police. Maybe it says something about our law enforcement organization, but I just think it's
Yeah.
interesting to bring
Yeah.
up.
I
don't
see
know.
the same thing.
So we joke how the franchise later goes into sci-fi territory, but that first race that like Brian puts his pink slip up for, they basically get into like some kind of like Barry Allen and Justice League shit.
Speed
like
Force.
they enter the Speed Force. It's
Dude, that
It
movie.
race,
gets even
like-
more
Yeah.
over the top in the
Dude,
second
let's go
film.
talk. Let's talk about that
Oh,
race.
yeah.
It's like that race, but it was so weird. It's like there's like over 20 cars just waiting to race, or at least watching the race. And that I don't know. This is where we introduced it. Like obviously, we're getting inside the hood of the car, through the engine, through the NOS, like the CG, very blatant CG. Like look at the car, like which they kind of replicated
Well,
a couple
in
more
this-
movies later on.
In
Go
the
ahead.
second one, they go even harder into this. But I think what's
Okay.
very interesting about the way how these are edited is a lot of these try and make it seem like it's one static shot from one car to the other. It's obvious that nobody's doing all their own dreaming.
No,
Nobody's doing all their own driving.
no.
But you get a good sense of what's going on. And the great thing about it is, I mean, obviously, when you go inside the engine, I don't care who you are, you feel that in your stomach. And then the
Yes.
races get faster as they go through. So it really keeps momentum through the editing, which I think
Yeah.
is why, outside of, the fact that this was a cultural thing when it came out, the street racing scenes, but I think it's why it managed to endure for most of the 2000s until we obviously got to Fast Five, changing the whole thing around.
Exactly.
I
But
really
yeah,
wish the street racing movie had more street racing in it.
Right. But like this one race was actually I thought it was like thrilling. It was like, kind of exciting a little bit, although it's very CG, fast zooms. Like you can't even see the street right next to them because they're going too fast apparently with the NOS, man. They're going with the NOS.
Yeah,
Like,
like
too
all
fast,
the
too
stuff-
furious. You get too many of scenes like
So-
that. So I'm good with the more practical stuff later on.
It's
Yeah.
actually kind
Oh,
of cool. It's funny. The science fiction aspect of like that scene is all the stuff that happens to Brian's car, like all the
dude.
bolts coming out and everything. Like
Yeah.
that stuff didn't actually happen with like the NOS he has.
No,
Like
it
his
wouldn't.
his car's just falling apart like for no reason.
Even
No, the engine would just
before,
blow and his car would stop.
dude, even before he starts racing, he starts like the whole setup that he has, like Brian has in his car. It's like he's about to warp drive through the Enterprise. Like he has like 2 screens, which I have seen screens in cars, but he has 2 screens, like one here, right here. He has the buttons. He got 2 NOSes right here. It's like, God damn, are we going to space? Like that's not this movie. Like
Even had a laptop on his side.
get a
Oh, yeah.
laptop.
Shit, they got
Laptop.
Jarvis in Fast and Furious 4, so
Right? So I was like, God
Oh,
damn.
yeah.
Like this dude has
keeping with all of
everything.
this.
And we also have a cameo. I don't know if you guys noticed. There's a cameo from the director. He plays like a Pizza Hut delivery guy. He was like, "What is these people doing here in the middle of the street?" He was like, "Oh, you fucking asshole!" I'm like, oh, "Okay, you street kid punks."
I'm pretty sure he's the one that called the cops.
Yeah, he's the one that called the cops for sure. It's
Oh,
like, dude,
boy.
I'm trying to deliver my pizza. These guys are in the way. Like, what the
Well,
fuck?
he's like goddamn street racers. Like, is this a common problem in this city?
Right? This LA is crazy. And dude, there's this one guy in the race who before they race, like he's playing like Gran Turismo, like in his PlayStation in the car. Like,
Yeah.
are you
That,
fucking
PlayStation.
serious?
that checked out though, like with the era, just looking back, like
Yeah.
that is what audience. I bet you, like if we were to record an audience reaction when that happens, huge round of applause because everybody who was into Gran Turismo went to this movie.
Yeah,
It wasn't
but
like, like you might as well have tickets come with the game.
Yeah, but before Sylvester Stallone fights Ivan Drago, he's not playing Mike Tyson's Punch Out.
Right?
True.
Well, it's just I thought it was funny,
But
like, dude,
also
you're
Mike Tyson's Punch Out didn't exist? Question mark?
right.
That's it.
But I thought it was funny because like you're about to race and you're
My joke
playing
was
a racing
bad.
game. Like that's cool. I mean, you're way into your racing game. That's awesome. And I found this quick little scene I thought was kind of funny where you're about to be in the starting line and Brian goes a little bit over the starting line, then he goes back. You know, I thought it was like kind of a cute little scene because you know he's a new guy. He's the most inexperienced guy. I thought it was like a cute little character thing about him. Well, that was kind of cool. And then again, we also see Dom prepping his stereo, putting his music, putting more 2000s music. And we see Edwin, as you mentioned earlier, Danny, getting a tantalizing offer from a lady saying, like, hey, if you win, you'll get all. Well, it doesn't matter if you win or lose, you'll get all of this. But if you win, you also get her. And it was like, oh, fuck, dude.
Turns out he gets nothing.
Yeah, right. It's like, I better win. I better win. And so I thought that scene later on where he's like, I thought it was pretty funny, genuinely funny, where Bryce just passes right through him. He's like, no, Mia! I thought it was funny because like, he's not getting Mia.
Menage.
No, Mia! It's like, I was like, man, that was funny. That was a Ja Rule thing right there. And so like as you mentioned, like his car's falling apart. Like Brian does not win the race. Unfortunately, he does not win the race. Of course, Dom had to win. I mean, it's Vin Diesel. Yeah, he had to win the race. If not, we would not have this movie. And so we're also introduced to a staple of the franchise, which I'd already mentioned, like going through the whole engine and stuff. But wait, let me see my notes. I'm trying my notes in here. Oh yeah, okay. So this is the thing I've seen from a lot of racing movies. Like, how can you watch a racing event in person like that? Because you'll miss most of the racing if you're like in the beginning of the starting race. You'll miss the whole race because you're not in the finish line, or unless it's like camera following the action.
Yeah.
You don't know what the fuck is going on.
You want to know the answer I would give as a filmmaker?
Go
Now,
ahead.
mind you, I've directed a few things, but I'm gonna give you the answer if I were Rob Cohen, which thank God I'm not. Were you entertained?
It was
Cool.
awesome, but I
That's the
just like
scene
if,
for my next movie.
but like if I'm
Yeah.
there, if I'm a
But
spectator,
it's
I'm
kind
like,
of weird that they were also at the end. Everyone was also at the end. Every spectator,
Everybody's just-
everyone was also like
Everyone.
waiting. Yeah, they were like basically running.
The guy was there.
dude,
Yeah.
there's like over 200 people at least through the whole road just watching the whole race going down. I'm like, what the
Oh,
hell? And no one's catching up. There's just a race going on, this illegal racing with over 200 people there. No one's catching up to this. Like, what
Well,
the
it's
fuck?
actually a community activity. It's actually a community activity. All the people there, they own the stores around them. It's actually a very beautiful thing.
Okay, I don't know the store owners also participated in this. I did not know that was a thing. I know I know it's a
yeah.
big community, but I don't know like store owners would close their store and be like, I want to watch this race. I don't know.
Yeah,
It was
don't,
a
See,
thing.
don't make
Dogget-
assumptions. Did you know Hector's actually a school teacher?
Dogget, you saying that reminds me of when I was like talking about how great the montage in Creed is, which it always is great with, you know, like all the kids and their motorbikes. And I talked to actual like Philadelphians who are like, they fucking ride those things around at 2 a.m. That sort of shit.
It's just I
I
find it-
doubt that all the business owners are happy about it, but fuck them. Who cares? They
No,
have
I
a
just-
small business in LA. I guess.
It's just weird. I found it funny because there's a lot of racing events in movies where like it goes through a long trek, and the people that were there and spectating on the beginning of the race, I can't watch the rest of the race because there's not a camera following the action. So it must be really boring to be a spectator live, like in person. It must really suck. But at least
It's actually not.
yeah, at least this one race is pretty short. It's only like a road and that's it. So it's not too bad. But man, I just thought it was pretty funny. So of course, oh yeah, the N words mentioned for a PG-13 movie. I was really surprised. I did not expect that shit. And so we also see the big.
It's not just the N word. It's the phrase, Sebastian.
Yeah.
It's the full phrase.
It's the full phrase. I'm like, God, okay, wow. This is comparing this movie for like the rest of the franchise. Wow, I did not expect this movie to this movie to say this kind of words.
Doesn't every film in this franchise get one F word? Like I know in the fifth one, The Rock says it.
Oh, The Rock says it in the best way. But I'm not
Candy. But I just thought that was really funny. But also we have to see the beginning of that bromance between Dom and Brian because I thought it was kind of cute when he says like, hey, because Brian smiled the whole time. Dom's like, why are you smiling? And he's like, dude, I almost had you. And that whole interaction was kind of cool. I really liked that. And I also noticed that Jesse is.
They really play out the friendship really well throughout this movie.
I really like that relationship. That chemistry, like
yeah,
I really, really dug that chemistry. That's like as to go along the movie. I really, really like.
I mean, it follows the rom-com technique throughout the franchise. Guy meets girl or guy meets guy. They end up like at first they're at odds, and then he says that one thing that's like, you know what? Maybe I may hang out with him again, and then later on there's a rift in the relationship, and then they rekindle it. It's a romantic comedy. Yeah, it's Fast and Furious is the romantic. This is the you got mail of this generation. I don't know.
Well, Brian is like the friend Dom always wanted. Like he's not a criminal. He seems like a really nice guy. Looks like he'll treat his sister nice. Like later on in the film where Brian's like, I want in on the criminal enterprise. You see how sad Dom is. Like he's just thinking, oh, this nice guy got led astray by me.
That's
true.
Really
a touchy moment.
Yeah, like I really felt that relationship as even from this beginning. I'm like, man, I really like. I'll say more stuff later on, but I really like this beginning of this relationship. And also, I think Jesse is way into cars. Like I think he fucks cars because he's really into it. So he's like, man, this engine looks. Oh my god! He's like, whoa, dude, Jesse, calm down, man. Like, calm down a little bit. You're way into cars. Like even Dom's like, come on, man, relax. But of course, the police arrive, which I think it was way too massive. A crowd of police arriving too quickly because they only were reported about this like a couple seconds, and then later on this like massive swarm of cops coming out of nowhere, which I thought was pretty funny. And I think there's also this one aerial shot which I noticed where it's like the director waited for this aerial shot and told the cops like, all right, action, because there's this row of cars waiting to be told to action because they were
out of nowhere.
Yeah, they were waiting, they were there, and they're like, oh shit, the aerial shot, let's go. I'm like, okay, wow, there's a lot of cops. I know it's LA, but shit, that was like way too much for like a recency. But as also, it's funny how Toretto found this convenient parking lot that was open for him to hide his car at I don't know what time of the night it was. It looked pretty late to me, so that parking lot was open conveniently. Yeah. And so he comes out. We also notice that the cops know who Toretto is because they recognize him immediately. He's like, Toretto, still right there. So he starts running around with his rare jacket that he never wears, that rare jacket, that leather jacket that he looks cool on. And so Brian comes out of nowhere to save him. The least person he'd expected to come out to save him shows up. And I also kind of like that scene in that car where they talk about more about their backstories, of each of their backstories, because Dom thinks he knows Brian's backstory. Like, oh, you have a juvenile record, right? I know all about you. And you're like, do you now? Do you really, Dom? I don't think you know who he really is. But Dom talks more about his backstory, how he made 2 years in Lubbock. I don't know what the hell he's doing in Lubbock, Texas, but that's another story. But I don't think we ever find out what he did there. Well, no, I think we did find out he did there, right? I think he
beat the guy.
Yeah,
he beat that guy, right?
That is the catharsis moment. That's also the quote that I opened up my Fast and Furious Spy Racers review with, that I will always remember as being like one of the best ways to open it, which is truly fucked up. Like it is one of the most fucked up
Yeah.
monologues I've ever heard. And you think this is your fucking like kids go see Fast and Furious movies.
Right.
Yeah, you start them off with the first one. It's like he beat a man so hard, I just kept beating him. I just got to take the bus to work. You know, sort of shit.
Yeah, that scene came around. I was like, oh shit, wow. Like, I mean, again, juxtaposition of like what goes on later on. I was like, God,
But it
okay,
feeds
this is
into
dumb.
something that is really great when we get to Fast 5.
Oh, it was cool. I mean, seeing that
As
stuff.
far as a great character moment.
Yeah, I seen some from Dominic flesh out, especially that scene between him and Brian was kind of cool. Seeing how he can trust more from Brian, and then we find out that the night is not over because oh shit, the Yakuza is here out of nowhere. Like, oh shit, the Yakuza in this movie? Okay, that's cool. I forgot that was a thing in this movie. Which of course we meet the villain of the movie.
Well, they get like a villain in the second act.
Did they say
Right?
Yakuza specifically?
No.
I'm not sure.
They're just
I think
an
it's
Asian
Triad.
gang, Sebastian.
It's just Johnny
I don't
Tran and his
I
Johnny
don't know.
Triad was it? I think it was his name.
Johnny Tran.
The Johnny
Yeah.
Tran clan.
Yeah.
That's all I know. The Johnny Tran.
This
And
dude
you
is
judge
an
me for my
interesting
Han
career. I
joke.
can't remember what the guy's name is off the top of my head, but the actor who plays Johnny Tran went from this to being a Bond villain and then nothing really. Ninja
Oh, yeah.
Assassin.
Oh, he was in
you think that would be the trajectory to be like super popular.
that's all. He was in Olympus Has Fallen, right? He was a villain in that movie. He was fine. He was alright. He was a good.
As I
semi-villain.
said, the trajectory to be in a popular. No,
Hey,
I
come
actually
on,
do
man.
like
Hey,
Olympus Has
give him
Fallen.
some credit. Give him
Hey,
some credit
Yeah,
there.
Vin
I
Diesel
won't.
barely
I
pulled
won't
it
talk
together.
ill of a Fuqua movie. You can't make me.
Don't forget, Vin Diesel was in Babylon AD. Like people make mistakes.
Oh,
I try to fucking forget about that. Like,
I
Jesus
forgot about
Christ.
that. But I also noticed this one thing once they go to like the restaurant, like there's like this Confucius statue. I don't know if it's like a racist thing in there, but was Confucius actually called Kung Fu Chi, like Kung Fu? Because that was in his statue. I was like, huh, that was kind of weird. I don't know if that's his real name or not.
Maybe it's a play on words. I don't know.
I don't know. I was just like, huh, that's okay. That was kind of weird. But yeah, so we introduced also I kind of like how every time they introduce like an Asian gang in like the late 90s, early 2000s action movies, they need to play that little music, like that little that thrilling music, that thriller shit, like oh shit, it's just about to go down. I thought like that's pretty funny, but I do like Johnny Tran. Johnny Tran, he's not in it that much, but the moments that I do see him, I think he was a pretty cool, decent villain, kinda ish. He's not technically a villain, as we kind of find out later on. He's not really the bad guy, as we kind of find out. But I did like him. What do you guys think about Johnny Tran? What do you guys think about him?
He's all right.
Right?
And every time he showed,
Johnny Tran?
Sorry, Henry.
I was saying that every time that he showed up, someone either died or something major happened.
That's
So
true.
they
That's
lost
true.
a race. So it was it was impactful every time. It wasn't just him showing up and saying something and then leaving. It was always a major event.
Yeah,
ex-
but at the end of the day, like I feel like you don't get to know him enough to really like, usually you introduce him by doing something like minor but villainous. I mean, that's usually, and one of my least favorite tropes that actually this series does a few times is like, you kill one of your own henchmen, which I'm always like, why are you wasting a henchman? Like that's a whole predicament. You got to find a new guy.
Yeah.
But
Right.
all of his acts are always just like, drive-by shooting, pretty much.
Yeah, drive-by
once
shooting.
we get-
Well, he only has two bodies, like that one dude and Brian's green car.
That's
yeah.
true.
But usually you do something minor, but he doesn't leave that much of an impression outside of the fact that his name is kind of memorable. Johnny Tran.
his name is pretty badass. I really like his name. I was like, Johnny Tran, man. It's the one they said his name, like,
Yeah, if they told me
yeah,
like that could be like a whole series of movies. Like they were like, yeah, the Johnny Tran saga. I'd be like, that's interesting. Like
Yeah,
just
that'd be
based off the
cool.
name alone. I don't have to know anything.
no, right? And like the history that they semi had with Dom was sort of interesting, where they kind of had this turf war. They kind of find out like, oh, what's the actual history between Dom and Johnny Tran? It's like, well, a deal sort of happened. We don't really know what that deal was. Went south. Oh, and of course, Dom has sex with his sister because that's what Dom does. He has sex with everybody. And so I felt like,
Oh,
okay,
the
wow.
trans sister. Okay.
A trans, yeah, he fucks a trans sister. He fucks trans sister. I was
I
like,
thought you
okay,
said his own sister. Okay.
right.
Okay.
I was like,
I
damn,
think
all right.
Letty's just basically a failure at this point.
Yeah, Letty's like,
Dom
what
just
am I
looked at Letty,
doing
well,
here?
you know you're adopted.
Like Letty's like, what am I doing here? But I did like that like confrontational scene between them. But what I also love is like Johnny Trant's like petty asshole. Is you think that things are left in peace? You know, like, all right, fine, we'll just go our ways. Once he drives away, nah, I drive back and shoot the fucking car and blow it up. I was like, okay, right, Johnny Trant's a fucking asshole. But the explosion looked kind of cool. It's like some blue flames, like the Nos flames. I'm like, that looks pretty badass.
Yeah.
And also, I liked how they took a cab to Dom's house, right? This is still the night where they're running away from the cops. I do not know how the cops figure out that these racers live here because you see these tricked out cars parked in front of their car. I'm sorry, of their house. So I have no idea how these cops don't figure out that this is where they live because they're having a party.
Yeah, and they're having a party like nothing happened.
Yeah, they're having a party, dude. And just tell you how this crew sucks. Like, they don't care about Dom. They're not a family yet. They don't want to save Dom. In the later movies, they would save his ass. No matter where he's at, they will try to save Dom. But no, in this movie, like, no, we're gonna have a party. Not even Letty cares. I thought Letty would be the one to care much about saving him, but no, she looked kind of high, so she was
And they're playing PlayStation.
Yeah, so playing PlayStation, and the rest just drinking Coronas, which I thought was funny. How Dom was like, "This is the beginning of the sponsorship relationship between Corona and Fast and Furious," because I love how, like, hey, Brian, you can drink any beer you want. It better be Corona. Like, oh, shit, all right, he's really into Coronas in this movie. Or this franchise.
Back then, it was because you could. Back then, it's because you could buy it for 10 cents a bottle.
I think one of the most interesting things about this franchise is that like Corona almost has its own character arc in and of itself because it comes as this like dependable thing. It's at barbecues, then later on it delays the scheduling of Fast Time. I'm sorry, that was a long walk for that bit.
But I just thought I thought it was funny. Like, I don't know why. This was Corona huge back. I don't know. Apparently, Corona was huge for Don's life. Like, you need to drink fucking Corona, or else
it's bigger now.
Right? Or I lose respect. You lose from respect if you don't drink Corona. So I was like,
well, it's the most popular bottled piss there is. So there's something there.
I thought I was like, man, he's really. I'm like, man, Dom, there's better beers out there. I mean, I don't remember if Dos Equis was still. If it existed back then or not. I think it did. But like, Dos Equis is way better than Corona. And even like, I don't know, Heineken is better than fucking Corona. Why are you drinking Corona? I don't know. He's making a big deal out of it. But we also see more of Mia and Brian flirting around a little bit, which I have to say I do like their chemistry. I think this feels genuine, feels pretty real. I do like their interactions. I think it's pretty sweet.
I gotta say, rest in peace, Paul Walker. But there was a friend of mine who would constantly make the joke that Paul Walker can't act unless he's right next to Vin Diesel, and made the joke of him being puppeted, pretty much. I won't go that far, but I think he has far more chemistry and emotional like depth when he's near Vin Diesel versus Mia. So there's a little bit there. I like Jordana Brewster. I like Paul Walker.
He's good.
Yeah.
Well, you know when the director sat Paul Walker down and explained the relationships between the characters, he's like, okay, look, this is Dominic Toretto. This is a criminal that you are investigating. You are actively stalking and like watching their every move. You are planning out to detail like what you are doing. You are reporting on them, but also becoming friends with him. And he is like showing you an aspect of a life that you could possibly want, because you know what? Law enforcement isn't really working out that well for you. They are treating you like shit. And Dom over here in a single day has already welcomed you open arms into his family. And you know, you should really think about that. Also, this is Dom's sister. I guess you two hook up. That's your relationship.
That's the thing. That's what I love, because, like, as we can see in this movie, Brian does not give a fuck about a lot of things. He doesn't give a fuck about his career. He does not give a fuck about, oh, this is my new friend's sister. You know, he, like you said, he embraced like Brian, and accepted him almost into the family. You know, it's like, I like you, I kind
He
of
was
trust
more
you.
worried about telling Brian that he was a cop than he was a sister.
Exactly. So it's like, dude, he's winning Dom's trust, but he's like, oh man, but his sister's pretty hot though, so fuck it. I'm gonna flirt with her. I'm gonna try to go out with her. I don't care. Like, wow, Brian, all right, you do you, man. I guess. But I think Mia is kind of hinted that they're gonna have shower sex because she was like, you kind of you smell dirty. I kind of you kind of need a shower. Let's go. And the scene ends right there. I'm like, they just have shower sex? I don't know. I don't know. It isn't ever mentioned. I just thought that was interesting. I could notice that. But then the next day rolls around, and then we find a big
Why did
twist
that stick with you? Why did that
because
stick in your head?
because he said like, let's go, let's take a shower. Up because he said like, let's go, like kind of insisting like the both of them are gonna have take a shower together. I don't know. That's what kind of I don't know. That's what it sounded to me. That's what it sounded like to me. I'm like, okay, all right, cool.
You guys
And
don't
then
get shower sex? It sticks in your crawl? You don't like it, Sebastian?
and I'm
You
not
don't
saying I don't like
you don't
it.
like
I'm
the
just
water running through your body?
I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying like, hey, this is Dom's sister, the friend you're supposed to be, winning your trust. And that same night, you're also gonna have sex with his sister. Okay, that's you, Brian. You do you. But speaking of Brian, we find out later on what Brian's really up to because he gets stopped by the police. He gets stopped by Buffalo Bill, which I have to say, his character I think is called Turner or Tanner. I actually liked him in the movie. I think he's not the best, one of the best characters in the movie, but I think he's an element I kind of would want more in the movies later on because he felt like a father figure in a way for him. But there were some points, or there's a point in the movie where Brian wanted to smoke a cigarette. He's like, dude, let's give me a cigarette, give me a cigarette. And like, hey, no, you quit smoking. Like, you don't smoke anymore. He's like, I don't give a shit. Like, give me a cigarette. He's like, no. Like, he was really adamant about that shit, like not smoking. So I kind of like that relationship between Tanner and Brian. I also like the captain. He's obviously a stereotypical police captain from action movies. He's getting mad all the time, like, do your job, whatever. But like, what do you think about Buffalo Bill in this movie? You guys like Buffalo Bill or Tanner, or whatever his name is?
I wouldn't say he's like particularly nice to Paul Walker or anything. He's kind of like what's his name in Invincible. Like he's treating him like a proper asset and like just not treating him like shit outright compared to like other people on the job.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know.
he's fine.
I thought he was. I don't know. I kind of liked them. I felt like maybe they're not like the best. No, like maybe friends per se, but it felt a little bit more than just acquaintances. It felt a little bit more like.
The thing about him
relationship.
though, like as an actor, is every time he plays a cop, even in American Gangster, I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop. Like I'm waiting to see him like smuggle some coke out of a room, or uh, have an obese woman in his basement well. Like he's just one of those actors who, whenever he comes into things, and he's solid, he's really good. But yeah,
I don't know. I liked him. I think he was pretty cool in the movie. And as captain, I think the captain. I don't know who plays the captain, but I think he was pretty nice. I mean, he's very again stereotypical captain character, but I think it was cool for the little that he was in the movie. Uh, but yeah, so we find out more about the plot of like what's going on. Apparently, they believe that Dom is the one who's stealing the DVD players, but Brian believes it might be Johnny Tran who's doing it. So like, we need to find more about Johnny Tran. But is he really just impartial, or is he really just close with Dominic Toretto? Like, does he have impartial feelings there? We kind of find out later on. But we go later on the next day. They go back to Dom's auto shop, which, by the way, looks state of the art. For like, I was like, dude, this dude has a restaurant. He has an auto shop. I think he also they say later on he also sells groceries, something like that. I'm like, damn, Dom. Like, I don't know. He's got a lot going for him. And that house is not
he
cheap.
also has kids everywhere. I'm sorry.
dude, like, oh my, Dominic Toretto, like, he has a lot going on for him. Like, even the house, again, that house he has going on is not cheap as shit. But also, we find out why Ja Rule's in this movie because the next scene plays some Ja Rule music in this movie. I was like, oh, of course, if Ja Rule's in the movie, you have to play some songs, at least a song from Ja Rule in it. But we also get some backstory from Jesse as we find out he has ADD. He's a very tech whiz. He's very intelligent. He knows a lot about cars and designs and all that stuff like that. And Brian's like, why don't you study MIT? I was like, because I had ADD. I couldn't do it. I'm like, oh wow, all right. I don't know. I don't have ADD, but I don't. That's I don't. I don't know. Is that a hindrance? Like you cannot go to MIT because you have ADD? I don't think so, right?
No,
No. So I'm
no,
like,
a lot of engineers have ADD.
exactly. So I'm like, oh wow. So because he had ADD, he could not go to MIT or I don't know. Apparently, cars calm him down, as he says. But I thought it was kind of nice, kind of give some sort of a backstory to Jesse. I mean, all right, they gave him something at least. Like, they gave him something. But we introduced another to the big staple of the franchise, of course, barbecuing. You can't have a Fast and Furious movie without a barbecue scene in that movie. So, I mean, dude, every time they have a barbecue scene, it just makes me want to eat with them. I don't know about you guys, but the food looks delicious. Every time they cook something there, it looks good. They bring them Coronas, makes me want to drink a Corona. I don't like Corona that much, but I thought it was
I
like,
I
gotta
don't like
say, you're
Corona
a
that much
fucking
either,
liar. Nothing gives you a craving to drink a Corona.
You know,
But-
no. It's this franchise, dude. This franchise, I'm always like buying a huge thing of Corona, enjoying time with my friends. Shit, now that I have good barbecue near me, I think that's the move for Fast Nine. You're reminding me. But
hell yeah,
it is a
dude.
staple of these movies. Oddly enough, it's a carryover from a movie that I mentioned it beforehand, Gone in 60 Seconds. This movie really is like taking Gone
Taking a
in
lot
60
from
Seconds
the
had to
movie.
stumble for Fast and Furious to rise up.
Yeah, it takes the best of different franchises. It's just puts them on a neat little package. I don't know, this is awesome. And the barbecuing stuff, I like that stuff when they show up in the movies. Again, they're not a family per se yet, but I did like that little barbecue scene. I think it was nice. Like we see Dom inflicting religious beliefs to Jesse because Jesse just wants to eat and was like, hey, you better say a prayer, you better say grace. And
Grace,
apparently
grace.
better say grace. And like Jesse's like, okay, shit, I just wanted to eat. All right, cool. And so
Grace,
I love
okay.
and what does he think? What was funny is like, what is he thankful for? He's thankful for car specs. I'm like, dude, you're like a little way
This
to
is
cars,
always
Jesse.
what happened.
you're like you're like way into cars, Jesse. But all right, that's whatever it was. But yeah, we also see that Vince is again pissed off. He sees Brian's there, like, what the fuck? So he gets out of the barbecue, but then comes back because he got hungry. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty pathetic. I'm like, I'm hungry. I'm sorry. Can we eat now? I'm like, okay. So also we find out, and that night, Brian is like, hey, man, you want to go on a date? But Mia's just like, no, I don't date people from the crew. Until Vince shows up, I'm like, well, you know what? Fuck it. You want to go on a date, Brian? I'm like, wow. So you really only want to go on a date just to mess up with Vince. So that's kind of shitty. It's not because you really want to go out with him. Because you just want to be an ass. Kind of show up, like, be an asshole in front of Vince. I'm like, all right, that's, you do you, I guess. But let's see. We also see Hector, who is just shopping. He goes to Brian's store. He just wants to buy a lot of pieces, apparently. And Brian just finds that apparently a little mysterious. Like, wait a minute, this is a lot of pieces. What's this about? So later that night, he infiltrates his shop. That's very legal as a cop, and finds out that he's tricking his cars. I guess something is weird. But then he gets caught by Vince, who just gets him with a shotgun. And then Dom's there. Dom is very mysterious presence there. You better speak. You better say some interesting
Yeah,
stuff
it's like
now.
you gotta explain yourself.
Yeah, you better explain yourself now. You have a minute now. Okay. So Brian comes with this convincing lie, like, hey, I was just checking up the auto shops and making sure they're not, you're gonna cheat in the race. I found that Hector got a lot of pieces, so I just want to win, goddamn. I don't want to lose like the first time. I want to win. So Dom's like, all right, cool. You sound convincing. Let's go take a ride, man. So they go to Johnny Tran's restaurant or whatever the turf area is to find out that their cars have no engines. Like, what the hell's going on? The cars have no engines? That's weird. And Brian notices that there's some DVD players there. It's like, oh, wait, things are getting together. Like, they might be the thieves until Johnny Tran and his crew arrive with this Ted guy. We don't really know who this Ted guy is. It's just apparently he's the one who stole the engines. They don't really explain that at all, but that was weird. Also, like this, there's the henchman. I forgot his name. Was I think it's like Lance. Like the dude is always in a like intense, psychotic looking mode. I also like his pants. Just look interesting. His leather like
Yeah,
almost like snake skin pants. The snake pants. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. That's awesome. But that's
The original skinny jeans.
right. That's what I was like. I don't know. This Lancer henchman guy was pretty interesting. So after that, they have to let's see. So Brian's captain wants more evidence. He wants to know what's going on. Like what like we need information, or if not, the FBI is gonna come and show up and do the job for us. So Brian's like, no, just give me a couple more days. So that's when Brian also goes on a date with Mia, which also I don't know. I like again. I believe that chemistry. I like that relationship. You guys might say I'm crazy, but I like that relationship. I actually buy that relationship. I don't know. Like, am I crazy, Danny?
A little bit.
Why?
It's like claiming that Sharon Carter and Captain America had a better relationship than Bucky and Captain America. It's just not true.
No. I mean, okay, that's a different.
One has instant chemistry. The other one is like it's for story reasons. This is happening.
I mean, okay, I can give to you if Dom and Brian have a better chemistry, but I don't think Dom and Mia's relationship or chemistry is not off. I think it's pretty believable. I don't know. I like them as a couple. I think they're pretty nice, especially later on.
Wait, Dom and Mia?
Yeah. Oh no, sorry. Brian and Mia. I actually think that relationship is. I don't know. I buy that chemistry. You guys think I'm crazy, but I think it seems genuine. It seemed like the actors were kind of liking each other for real. I don't know. That was how genuine it was for me. So, but yeah, we also see that scene with Dom and Brian in the garage where Dom tells more about his dad's backstory, about the car, what happened there. Wish I don't know. Maybe they'll do this later on. But do you guys think that Dom's dad might show up later?
Dom's father.
Yeah, Dom's dad. Because
Dom's dad?
yeah, because he. I mean, he says.
Well,
He says
you
how
have
he
to find. Okay,
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say that would be really fucking complicated because I actually did some research on Dom's sister, the person who plays her, Jordana Brewster.
Yeah, Jordana Brewster.
So her mom is Brazilian.
Jordana Brewster.
Her mom is Brazilian, and her dad is English, Scottish, Irish.
Oh, damn. All right, that's a
Compared to
combination.
Vin Diesel's whatever he is, compared to John Cena's whatever they are. So who is that dad? Who do you
I don't know.
cast for that role?
Because like you see his pictures in the
What if they get
background.
Antonio Banderas?
I'd be cool for that.
You know
I
what's crazy
Go ahead.
is that I would say the most unbelievable part about this franchise is that those three are siblings and not all the crazy shit they do with cars.
Oh, dude,
Right.
totally. When they got to fucking Fast and Furious 9's commercial, and you see like Vin Diesel catching a car, and then fucking you see like he's Dom's brother with John Cena's Wreck-It Ralph looking ass. You're just immediately like
there's no fucking way.
no. Like I'll buy you catching a car with your hands, but there ain't no way that's your brother.
It's like you
Adopted, maybe, sure.
Yeah.
On some Skyfall
They
shit,
have
I
the
guess.
same
Or
dad.
Spectre.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Or different
Especially
dad?
the sister. If you throw the sister in the mix, that's where it really fucks it up. Yeah, it's
I don't
like not all
It's
three of
like-
them.
It's like you see the pictures in the background of his dad. You kind of semi see his face, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the franchise can retcon that shit. It's not the first time they do that, but I would love if Sylvester Stallone plays his dad in the movie. That would be.
That
fun.
would fit. That would fit really
That
well.
would be
For
great.
all three kids.
But,
all
but the
three
thing
shit.
is, it would have to be like subtitled for that entire scene. It'd be like, You thought you would turn me back over here. It's like,
It's actually
Just immediately.
their real dad is the actual governor. Schwarzenegger is like, all of you are out of wedlock. You're all previous maids.
Dude, I'm fucking. Oh yeah, I'm just Arnold Schwarzenegger is like his uncle or something.
It's just gonna turn in the Expendables.
And you're
I mean,
like,
it
what
could
did
be
they
Bruce
say?
Willis.
I
for
mean,
all
if
we
you're a
know.
side character, you pretty much are.
Dude, I would love to
those
see.
Demolition Brothers from the fifth one back.
Oh yeah, dude, I would love to see a scene between Sylvester Stallone and Dominic Toretto for like 2 minutes and see how if I can understand that shit without subtitles. I think that'd be great. Like, Dominic Toretto, daddy. It's like, what the fuck? But I don't know. I like that scene. I like that Dominic's background of like his dad apparently died, but he can back. He can come back later. If Han can come back, his dad can come back.
If you're my dad, where'd I get my lips from?
Anything can happen in this franchise.
Anything could happen. So I think his dad's coming back. I think his dad's coming back.
Dinosaurs, I'm in.
Oh, dude, I cannot wait for that shit. Like that
All
Jurassic
right.
Park crossover. I'm so down. I'm so down for that.
Let's do it with Hobbs and Shaw though. I have my own feelings on Shaw that we'll eventually get to, but man,
Oh yeah.
I just want to see The Rock grab two velociraptors and slap their heads against each other and be like,
Fuck,
big mistake or
yes.
something along those lines.
Yes, dude. Oh my god. Oh, it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen.
That's
Okay,
fine,
It's gonna
that's
happen.
fine. As long as
you might want to cut out this portion, but I had to mute for a little bit and say goodbye to a few house guests. How long do we have left on this? I can't remember where we are in the movie.
Oh no, we're gonna go to like the third act stuff like that.
we are 40 minutes in the movie.
Oh no, we're gonna go
Shut
to
up.
like the last third act of shit because there's some stuff that happens like the date's like whatever. It's cool to see Mia driving. You know, it's gonna show
The
that she's
date
not.
is an hour and 30 minutes in.
Right. No, I think we're getting there. Like the date itself, because like we see that scene again. Like I said, like Dom and Brian talking about like Dom's background stuff like that. That's when we see the date, because Dom tells like, you better not break his heart or I'll break your neck. Brian's like, whoa, calm down, man. I'm just gonna take on our date. It's gonna be fine. And so the date itself was cool because we see some background from the crew. I think she mentions how Letty and Dom were like. Well, I don't know, because it was kind of weird because she said like, oh, she got Dom's attention when she was 16. I'm like, wait, so how old was Dom in this moment? You didn't specify that part. I need to know that fact. They didn't bring that up.
She grew up down the street.
Yeah, that's what she said. But it's like, okay, so when was Dom in the picture? Like, I hope it was not.
How old is Dom?
I assume they're on the
don't
same
know.
age, so they kind of.
Yeah, Michelle
I
Rodriguez
assume
isn't
that.
exactly like a spring chicken.
So that's what I hope they're from like the same age and they came around, like from the childhood. But we also find out that Dom and Vince were for instance, they were kids, and Leon, the rest was just like she literally says, they were just there. I'm like, all right, that's how much
Okay,
background.
Dominic Toretto is 40 years old.
He's 40 years old. Dude,
Right
later in the
now.
movie, they say that Vince has 24 years old. I'm 24 years old. I do not look like fucking Vince at all. Like, what the fuck? He looks like 33. I'm sorry. He's not look 24 years old. Like, get the fuck out of here.
33 is being generous. He's 40.
Dude, I was like, God, he's not 24. Like, wow. All right. This movie's bullshit. But hey, all right. If he's 24, I guess I still got a lot of years ahead of me. That's awesome. But yeah, we see the date. We see Mia's driving. Maybe it's a good driver. It's awesome. Great. That shows you that she's not the reserved sibling and only cleans and stuff. She can also, she can be part of the crew. She's awesome. And we also find out that Tran is not really behind the heist. So that's cleared up because they do a whole raid. Oh yeah, this is fucking montage scene where they raid the Tran clan. But we also jump back and forth between Dom and Mia having sex in the auto shop. That was very necessary for character development. I thought we needed that. We needed that.
He
tense,
had
sweaty
already
sex.
planned to tell her that he was a cop, but he figured I might as well fuck first, and then
No, that's true. I was like, okay, let's have sex first, and then I'll tell you that I'm a cop. All right, but like let's keep that for later. But I don't know. I thought that montage scene was funny. It's like, all right, we have this intense scene with Ryan feeling conflicted because he's arresting Tran, all that stuff. But we're also gonna jump between Dom and Letty. Sorry, Dom and Letty having sex in the car shop, having sweaty smacks. That was like, all right, we needed that. It was necessary for the movie, and so we see. We see. Oh, I didn't know that Tanner was actually the first character to say the words family, because he says to Brian like, "Hey, I know these people are like a family to you," something like that. He says, "I'm like, oh shit, that's that's cool." So that's the first time they kind of
That's
mentioned
good.
that.
I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna
Yeah,
use that
like
for the rest of my life.
yeah, we'll use that for the rest of the franchise. All right, they're a family to me. So that oh, that was
What
that
if
was
that was like an actor improv and like the screenwriters are like,
like
I'm just
that.
imagining the scene from Ed Wood. If you guys have seen Ed Wood, when Bela Lugosi's like, "So I pulled the strings," and then like Johnny Depp's to be like, "Pull the strings." I like that. Starts typing it.
That's what it's kind of looked like. It's like they didn't intend for this to be a huge thing for the franchise. But I'm like, oh, that family aspect is kind of interesting. We'll use that for the later movies.
It also
But
makes for the best drinking game.
oh,
Just
yeah,
saying.
holy shit! I might do that for the second movie. Well, maybe don't mention the second
We
movie.
did
Maybe
that.
around the fourth movie.
We did that, and then we did smoke a bowl for every time they do Nos.
Oh,
And my roommate really fucked me up when it came to Fast and Furious 6 because he was
Oh.
just like, they have the grappling guns and everything. He's like, well, those are technically run on Nos. So we were like smoking 8 bowls. I felt like I was on the runway right now.
He set you up because they don't run on Nas. It's different. It's not the same thing.
Holy
Set you
shit!
up.
Oh, he got you, man.
Right.
Oh no! Oh, poor Nathan, man. Hey, did he work out in the end?
Hey, yeah, I remember even less. I feel like I lost memories of seeing Furious 6, and I've seen it a few times. Anyways,
Oh my god. Well, like no, I want to do a drinking game for family when they say family. I think they start saying that more around the fourth
once they
movie, I
say
think.
Familia, you got to take a big fucking
Oh
drink.
fuck
Like,
yeah! I'll chuck a whole
you gotta
bottle
do
of bottles.
shots.
Fuck yes, fuck that, hell yeah! But also, I noticed it's like, all right, so Tanner kind of knows that Brian's conflicted between being a cop or being with Dom's crew. So why is he not immediately pulled out from the job? I don't know, but he's still a cop and he's still in the mission. I just thought like, dude, you kind of know he's conflicted. Like, it's time to pull him out. It's time to get him out of the mission. I don't think it's gonna work out. As we kind of know, it did not work out. But we also find out later on, Brian Dom you're gonna eat together in a nice little restaurant, the coast of Los Angeles. Looks pretty nice. But before they decide to race a sleazy douchebag in a Ferrari, which is okay. That was kind of cool. The guy in the Ferrari loses. We also see that Brian's trying to get Dom to spill the beans, trying to make sure that he is the actual guy doing the criminal organization stuff. And Dom
I like when he decided not to be slick anymore. When he's just like, Dom, what's your fucking dirt? Tell me everything.
Really,
all
tell
your
me.
secrets. Give me your social security number. When were you born? Give me your mother's maiden name.
I want to be part of the team.
All his chill.
I want to be part of the team. Dom's like, all right, well, you go here. I'm like, what is this? Like, race wars. I'm like, oh shit. Like, we'll see how you do in race wars, and then we'll talk. So Brian's like, all right, I got a lot to show here. So we go see this big event, race wars. So they're talking about the whole movie in this desert.
Every time you say that, Nathan flinches.
What's going on?
I'm not going to address that remark. You son of a bitch. Dogget,
What?
quit derailing this. We need to get to the third act. I want to talk about the fucking tank or what. You know what I'm talking about.
We're gonna we'll see that race wars. You know, we think we're gonna see a lot of racing. Not really. We only see Letty racing this asshole who's like, oh, I don't want smoke going on your pretty face. Why don't you get out of this little race? And she's like, oh yeah, all right, let's spend some money on that. And so of course she beats his ass in a race, destroys him as he should. And then Jesse's being a stupid idiot because he's like, oh, I was just I bet my car with pink slips against Johnny Tran. What the fuck is wrong with you, Jesse?
Yeah.
You're an idiot. Like,
I don't think he knew it was Johnny Tran at the time until they like rolled down the windows. They're like, "Oh shit, it's Johnny Tran!"
right? Maybe he did not. That'd be funny. It's like, oh, I could probably win against this guy. Like, he said nobody. Like, oh fuck, it's Johnny Tran. Oh shit. Well, all right. I guess I gotta pull
Which
my
is
weight
like-
into this.
That's a big no-no. You're supposed to know exactly who you're racing. You know who, if you can beat him or not. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna just pose her in this car. It's like, come on, man. Are you dumb?
It was so funny, like, god damn. But of course, Jesse thinks he's so confident. He's like, well, I'm gonna beat him or whatever. And of course, he does not beat him. Johnny Trance just smokes him like, immediately. Even Johnny, like Jesse, decides to use like the gnaw super early, and like, wow, Jesse, that's not how you do it. So Johnny Tran wins, and Jesse basically deserts the area where the car is like, fuck this shit. I'm not taking my car away. So he drives away, and so it prompts Dom to be like, well, fuck it. We're gonna do a late night heist because we're upset and we need to blow off some steam. So we're gonna do this big heist. So then we get to what I think is the set piece of the movie, or the only set piece of this entire movie, which is of course the heist. And I don't know if there's one line that Dom mentions, but I don't know if it's alluded later in the movies. I think maybe he does, but he tells Lady like how he dreamt about the two of them being at the beach in Mexico. I think that's later in. I don't know if that's in Fast 7. I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's in 5 or 6. There's
I
like
think so, right?
stuff with him being on a beach in Mexico.
Because it sounds familiar.
There's also the other woman too.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that when the movie comes around. Holy shit! But yeah, so like he mentioned that dream that he had, and yes, we finally get to the big set piece. Of course, Brian confesses to Mia that he's a cop. Mia, of course, rationally upset about that shit, but then she's pretty cool about it later on because like, hey, we need to help Dom. Dom's gonna do some stupid shit. So yeah, we beat. As you mentioned earlier, Danny, the real villain of the movie is this truck driver because, dude, that dude is blowing the shit out of his truck. Like, I don't think he owns that truck. It's a company truck. So he's blowing the shit out of that with his shotgun through like the hood of the truck, to the side of the truck. He's breaking the shit up. So of course the heist's not going well. Like Vince gets his arm stuck around the side of the truck. Letty gets rolled over the side of the road, which she should have been killed. Kind of like the fourth movie. What's up? And Leon saves her. I mean, what do you guys think about this whole fucking heist set piece? Like, you guys like it?
Oh, dude, this is why I wanted to be on this entire episode, is that this entire set piece reminds me of seeing like Mad Max for the first time. It has this vibe to it. It's all really, well, the series is, over the top as it goes through. And the scene is not necessarily going with all the perfect levels of physics. It feels real. When you're in that moment, when you see Vince with his arm caught, it's fucking tense. It is completely worth your price of admission. And yeah, no, this is the moment where the franchise, like, with that being your lasting impression, it carries enough weight to get me through 2 and 3, which are not necessarily my favorites of the franchise.
Not at all.
And then, it really set the tone, but everybody else, I always talk ad nauseum about it.
No, yeah, it was a cool little set piece. What do you think about it, Henry? Did you like the set piece, this action set piece?
Yeah, because it's been a while since I've seen this movie. So when that came up, I was like, this is actually really exciting. Like, it just felt really exhilarating. Them like zooming along with this tractor trailer. He's like faceless truck driver blowing holes in the cars with the shotgun. And because you never see him, but you see like the close-up shot of the shotgun or the close-up shot of him like reloading.
That was awesome. Like, we never see his face.
It was like very tension-filled. Yeah, I was like, oh shit, like is someone gonna get shot? Like, I don't know if Vince is gonna make it because he's caught on that little wire. And
it's rough.
How did you get your head blown off, man?
Yeah, right. It was intense, and that's what I like about that perspective. We don't really see the driver's face really that much. It's like I also kind of wonder, like, what was the conversation after he drives towards a destination. Like, does,
Yeah.
does he does he pay the company the damages, or is he fine? Like, he blows the shit out of that car, like holes in every side of the car. It was interesting. Like, what do you think about the set piece, Danny? Did you like it?
Well, the set piece for me was very weird because it's pretty much the opening set piece from the fourth one, where they're
That's
stealing
right.
gasoline from that truck.
That's true.
So it was kind of nice seeing the origins to that. And like I said before, this was like the most dedicated like robbery victim I've ever seen in a film. They're just trying to steal DVD players, and he's like he's fighting them off with a shotgun like Woody Harrelson in Zombieland. Like no discretion, and it's pretty awesome.
It was kind of cool, and I do like how they set it up, that truck driver doing that, because they kept mentioning on and on how the truck drivers are gonna take justice to their hands, because they're kind of getting tired of being stolen, all their DVD players being stolen by these people. So I like that it didn't come out of nowhere. So like, okay, it was kind of building up to this moment, but I do like the scene. I think it was very intense. Like, a lot of times it felt like they were actually driving that fast. They're filming like this stunt the stunt actor doing like pretending to be Brian. I'm like, holy shit, like this guy is actually on top of this car in like 100 miles per hour. This looks pretty awesome. I really enjoyed it. And also we see the climb, what happens after that. Things fall apart. Vince is very fucked up, and so that's when Brian reveals that he's a cop to Dom, which Dom, of course, is pissed the fuck off. But he chills down because Mia's like, don't do it, please don't do it. So Dom's like, all right, I won't do anything now. All right, let's go save Vince. So they save Vince. He's fine. That's the last thing we see from the movie. He doesn't show up we don't know what happens to him. At least from this movie standpoint, we don't know what the fuck happens to him. We don't know what happens to Leon and Letty. They just drive. We all know they just drive away, and that's it. So like, okay. So whatever. They go. Brian goes back to Dom's house, and Dom's bloody, but he's blonde. He wants to go save Jesse because Jesse's still around there. I even forgot that Jesse was out there. Oh yeah, I forgot Jesse's in trouble. So that's when Jesse shows up, and everything seems to be it's gonna be fine. Jesse's like, "I'm sorry, man. I don't want to. I don't want to go away, get away my car." And then typical. What kind of liked about this is maybe this game parodied this movie, but this reminded me of Saints Row 2. I don't know if you guys played that game with this character named Carlos. It's almost the same thing. I don't know if you guys play that game. I don't know. It's awesome, but it reminded me of that game. But I think that game parodied this movie.
This reminded me of Ricky.
Oh yeah, Ricky.
Which I mean, apropos because Boys in the Hood director John Singleton, R.I.P. as well. Jeez, a lot of death.
Yeah,
he's directed
a lot of death in
movie.
this.
He directed the
episode.
second one.
Yeah, and that's sad. But I don't know, that Jesse's death is not the most. That's not the best death really, because they do this cheesy zooms into their faces, like reacting like, oh no, it's Johnny Tran, and then he just gets shot, not in the most glorifying way, but he dies, and then again, we don't really find out what happens. I mean, Jesse dies, I guess, but we don't really find out the consequences of his death. He just dies, and that's about it. So that was kind of disappointing in my opinion, but we do get a sweet chase scene between Dom, Brian, Tran, the snake pants guy. That was kind of cool. I do like that. I also kind of wonder, like, is Dom before this movie, has he killed people before? Has he been a killer? Because he hits this dude with a car, and he hops out of the car to make sure he's dead, or maybe he's not, or to make sure he's okay at least. He's looking at the side of the hill like, okay, he's not dead. All right, I'll just go. But I was like, is Dom a killer? Is Dom a killer before this movie?
I mean, he's
Talks about it?
definitely killed, I feel.
He's a violent person. I don't know if they've ever established he's a killer.
Yeah, because
he's more of a maimer. Like, he'll maim someone, but
yeah, right. He's ready to kill someone. But I don't know. He's like, I don't know. That scene that I said, like, he just looked at it and make sure
We've
he's like
seen
dead or not.
Brian kill way more people than Vin Diesel's character.
Oh, for sure. And especially like how he kills Johnny Tran. Like, I mean, yeah, he had to do it, I guess, but he just shoots him in the fucking neck, I guess, and he just rolls out of the side of the street and just dies. I'm like, all right, that's one way to kill Johnny Tran. Like, wish it could have been a little bit better, but all right. I liked how kind of realistic. He didn't have this glorifying death. He just died, like inside the street. He's just dead.
Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. And so like then Brian chases Dom, and of course we have one of the most iconic scenes of the franchise, where Dom decides, let's just do a race. We'll race in this road that I used to race back then, like in high school. So they go down the street, but of course, oh shit, a train's coming. So are they gonna make it? Are they not gonna make it? And then we got this awesome, the iconic shot of the franchise. I think for one of the most iconic shots for he's like when they jump off the train tracks in slow motion. I think it's really badass and pretty well done. It looks pretty cool. It looks practical. It doesn't look CG. So that's kudos on them for doing that. And so I think we have like the most unceremonious ending for the franchise I've seen ever, because literally Brian just lets him go. He's like, hey, just take this key, go escape. And we don't see the consequences of Brian's actions. We don't see what happened. I mean, obviously we know the later movies later on.
Yeah.
But in this
moment is.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say that moment is set up because throughout the movie he says that he owes him a 10-second car, and Johnny Tran shoots up and destroys that car. Mm-hmm. So at the end, where it's like, hey, I have a 10-second car, and it's like, well, you can have it. And I don't. And of course, with their bromance, he's like, well, I don't want you to go to jail, so and I owe you a 10-second car, so.
That's true. Yeah, it was set up, and it was kind of an interesting ending, but it's like, for me, it felt like it just ended there. I would have liked to see like what happened.
Just end.
I'd like to see like what happened with Ryan. Like, did he get in trouble? What happened with him and Mia? What happened with Leon and Letty? What happened with Dom? Like, none of that is discovered, at least in this movie. So it's like they just decided to end it right there. So,
well, it's because the story is not about any of them, not even Dom. It really is mostly Paul Walker's story.
True.
And like the end is he basically chooses to break bad at the end.
Yeah.
True. And
I will say, I think. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry.
I think a big issue with this ending, and I will say it's actually rectified by the post-credit scene, which I hope we talk about, is that I feel like they didn't really know what was the satisfying conclusion for it. Mm-hmm. So, they just keep like, they go from ending to ending. It feels like it could end anywhere. And when it does, it wasn't necessarily like the most satisfying ending for me personally, but
no,
I feel like that's fixed heavily by the post-credit stinger.
Well, if you don't want to later on betray how Vin Diesel's character is, like all the aspects about him, all the things that make him a rough person, like if you don't want to abandon any of that, like this movie's ending is the best way to do that before they turn him into an outright superhero.
True. It's an interesting ending for me. It's just I thought they could have done a little bit more after that, because the whole sequence was good and the way they kind of ended things there was kind of cool. But it would have been a better ending if they did something a little bit more after that scene. But it was fun. It was not the worst ending, but I did not know there's a post-credit scene. I actually did not know that. Like, what's the actual post-credit scene in this movie? I missed that. I don't know. I left the credits on. I didn't even see it.
Oh, shit. Okay, so basically, and it's shown often where they say that whole line of, you used to say I live my life a quarter mile at a time. And, it just shows him in that fucking 10-second car. I can't remember, 6-second car, whatever. And he's driving, and you just see the title that just says Mexico. It just shows him getting away. I feel like that's the better.
In the orange car. Oh yeah, in the Supra. Okay.
Oh.
Or no. In the I guess
he
would have been in the Supra. Yeah. Never mind.
Oh shit! I didn't see that. I didn't see that at all. I didn't see that scene pop up. I literally left the whole movie run by the end. I didn't see it. I was like, oh shit!
I totally forgot about that.
Damn, another movie they copied. Set It Off.
Oh shit! Set It Off is so good.
Yeah.
I saw this in a theater pre-pandemic.
Oh man!
Which is directed by F. Gary Gray. He directed the eighth movie.
The eighth movie.
Yeah.
Oh, can't wait to talk about that movie. But I don't know. At least I will say, I know, Danny, I know you said that Dom or Vin Diesel was the best one of the movie, but I had to say that Paul Walker was actually the best one for me. I know that Nathan, you said that he's not really the best actor, but I thought he was actually pretty good in the movie. I'm
No,
not gonna
I
lie,
think
I thought
he's
he was
good in
really
the
good.
movie. I just think
Actually,
Vin Diesel elevates him. Their chemistry is
Oh.
the reason to see this movie.
oh yeah, for sure.
Vin Diesel
I
has
thought moments.
chemistry with everybody. Paul Walker has chemistry with Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
True. I don't know. It's just a lot of moments where I saw just Paul Walker. Just I don't know. I was really invested with his story, what he was saying, like his conflict. I guess I really liked him more than Dominic Toretto. I was surprised to even think that because I always thought that Dominic was like the most entertaining out of all of them. But in this movie, I actually looking back at it, I was like, I kind of like Brian's story in here. I really liked him a lot more than I thought it did. And Dominic was cool. I did like him, but I don't know. He's cool, but he's still not the Dom that we know and love. You know, we're still not there yet. But it's in this movie, he was cool. I really liked him. And the villain itself, he was fine. Johnny Tran was I like the actor. I forgot, I don't know his actor's name right now. But he was fine. Like if I got to well, I guess later on I will rank the villains, but as of right now, I wouldn't even put him on the top 5. But as of this movie, he was fine. He was fine. I guess the real villains in the movie is Dom Toretto, I guess. But I don't know.
It's a conflict between them.
It's like, but Johnny Chan was alright. But yeah, I don't know. I have to say, from my overall thoughts, I think this movie was a lot of fun. It's early 2000s. It's very almost late 90s, early 2000s. There's some cheese in this movie. There's a lot of cheese. Some dialogue. It's not really the best, but I do think it's a pretty tight movie. I think a lot of the script is pretty good. I think the story is pretty interesting. It's pretty cliche. I mean, it's Point Break with cars and maybe Gone for 60 Seconds as well, as you kind of mentioned earlier. But I like this movie. I wouldn't say it's a great movie, but it's in the middle range between good to great. So in my scale, from 1 out of 10, I'll give it like a 7.5. I think it's a pretty good movie. It's a pretty good starter for the franchise, for sure. What do you think, Henry? What are your thoughts, and what would you give the score out of 10, or what your score is?
I would probably give it probably around 7.5 in terms of like quality of the movie. I think it's still one of my favorites. Like thinking about going through all the movies. I think it's just might be the nostalgia, just because I was a kid when I watched the first one, and it was just like it left such an impression on me. And going back to watch it now, and it still held up somewhat. I was surprised that okay, this still had a lot of quality to it. Like how sometimes you go back and watch stuff like okay, this is not good at all, but it was still like okay, I would go back and watch this again, tomorrow if I had time.
Me too. I thought this movie was gonna be a little bit boring, but go ahead.
I would put it in my top 3 of the Fast and Furious movies.
Oh, really?
Because
Okay.
1, 5, and 7 are my favorites. Not in that order, but those are like my top 3.
Interesting. All right. I kind of want to later on.
What's your watch the most?
I kind of want to learn later on. What's the actual position that you would give all 3 of them?
But let's say 7.5 in terms of like more of an objective score. But like personally for me, I would rate higher because I would watch it more often. But I'd say 7.5.
Okay, cool.
Good score.
I'm about in the same place as Henry on this. I think that this movie delivers on a very visceral level in every way that you would want a Fast and Furious movie. I mean, when it's advertised, at least the way how I remember it being, it lives up to everything that you would expect. You get a lot of racing, you get characters that, like the most you can ask of an action movie, in my opinion, is that you care about the characters who are going into the fights. And well, Dominic Toretto and fucking oh my gosh, Brian O'Connor are not like Daniel Day-Lewis and There Will Be Blood, where you're intrigued by them and you want to see this story, and you are so invested in what's going on, and it's the perfect kind of movie. It doesn't let you really catch your breath throughout it, and it delivers on the exploitation level that you want out of a movie titled The Fast and the Furious. And I've always found that to be the most successful thing about the movie. It works on every level that you would want it to work, and it's just a fucking good time.
Yeah, it's a
But
very
yeah,
enjoyable.
7.5.
Yes, it's an easy watch, and yeah, it goes quick, like fast paced, like oh my god, but it's pretty good. It's pretty well balanced. What do you think about it, Danny? What were your overall thoughts? What was your score of the movie?
Well,
What
it's
do you think?
surprising. I'm not used to movies that are like over 20 years old aging relatively well, and this does do that. Yeah, it does
Oh.
have like that the F words and all that, but this is a movie full of scumbags. Yeah, they're only stealing DVD players, but like remember, one of them almost beats up Brian because he orders too much tuna.
Yeah,
Let's
right.
just let's just put that in perspective.
Yeah,
None of
they're
these
not
are
nice
good
people.
people.
No.
So
None of them.
I'm just saying, and there was something to be said about how like the culture just like took grabbed a hold of this, and we held on to this past two shitty sequels, just waiting for this franchise to like, it's not dead yet, it's not dead yet, until like we're just resuscitating it until like the fourth one came around.
Oh, for
But
sure.
the first one, it sets the groundwork, and honestly, like the later movies get ridiculous. This one really does lay the roots to like getting to that ridiculousness.
Oh,
Yes,
totally.
It
exactly.
does it
Yeah,
pretty well.
I saw those
Yeah.
seats growing. Like, yeah, I
So
can see how can ridiculous this can be for sure. It's not like a
yeah,
complete.
between entering this,
Yeah, go ahead.
yes, between entering the Speed Force and Brian, the 21-year-old looking Paul Walker playing an undercover cop,
Right?
it's a he might as well have been in 21 Jump Street. In all honesty,
Exactly. It's not
but
a complete tonal
I
shift. It's still believable.
so I would give this probably a 7 out of 10.
Okay,
know,
all right. So we're
it's
all on the same
it's
page then.
actually this deserved to have the franchise it currently has.
Oh, for sure. It's like, dude, it's just again to think that this huge franchise came from this movie. I would never expected it before. I would have never thought this would happen. I thought this movie almost looked like a one and done deal, kind of almost like that. So to think that it made this huge successful franchise as it has, it's incredible. It's like it's a journey to see, and oh my god, next week is gonna be Too Fast, Too Furious. Holy shit, I'm not ready for that.
It's a perfect example of making a decent, enjoyable first movie for a franchise. Like just focus on making a movie that everyone wants to watch, and the sequels will come. Like don't just focus on the sequels. Just focus on the first movie, and I mean it kind of works. I mean people wanted more. It's like oh I like this. It was relatively standalone, and that's kind of what led it to all the movies.
Yeah, it's
This is
just
how you start a franchise.
yeah, it started very well. It didn't do that. Yeah, that bait of like, oh, we're gonna do more movies. Like it kind. Oh, I don't know. Maybe the ending kind of did. I don't know. It's debatable. But
It wraps up in a nice, neat little bow.
yeah, I think it kind of sets up like it could continue the story, but not like super ham fisted. Like we're gonna do a sequel. So I think it was very well done. I like this movie. It's a fun little ride. So I want to ask you guys, the audience, what do you guys think of Fast and the Furious? Did you like the movie? Did you not like the movie? What stuff did you like? What stuff did you not like? Let us know in the comments. Let's talk about it. Let's debate. Let's fight. Let's do it. So thank you guys. Thank you, Henry. Thank you, Danny. Thank you, Nathan. Henry, if you want any people to follow you in the social medias, would you got anything to plug?
No, I got no plugs.
No, you want people to
So
follow
right
you
around the
anywhere?
internet.
So don't follow
Uh,
Henry
I-
anywhere.
I don't really have much social media.
Yeah, you saw Falcon and the Winter Soldier. You know they don't want to be followed.
Don't follow Henry anywhere. So, Danny, where can people follow you? Where can you plug? Shoot it.
Oh man, you can find my unpublished podcast on YouTube, and you can find me on Twitter under Danny Doggett and YouTube on House Doggett. You can find me on Facebook under Danny Doggett, and you can find me on on a few episodes of a little podcast called Mission Impossible. And you can find me doing reviews on oneofus.net. And
Very nice,
really,
very
you
nice.
can find me on OnlyFans.
Well,
Oh.
after this recording, this is the last time I'm ever going to have Dogget on an episode of Mission Impossible. So,
Always
Yeah.
come calling back.
yeah,
What about you, Nathan?
I occasionally do reviews over at oneofus.net, but you can find me on my Twitter at Nathan Flynn. Don't find me on Facebook. There's no call for it. You can find me on Instagram. Nathan is a Dapper Dan Man. But you can mainly find me posting about my podcast, Mission Impossible, where you can find wherever podcasts exist. Apparently a thing called Geo7, which I didn't even know was a real thing. Our Twitter account is at Impodible, IMPODIBLE. I really got to pee.
All right, that's
I'm
awesome.
going to go rush over there.
Go ahead. So, thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for more Fast and the Furious.
Do it live.
Nathan's gonna pee.
Fast and Furious to the bathroom.
You gotta pee. You gotta pee fast and gotta pee furious. So thank you guys for watching. I don't know. Some of these guys might come back for the next few episodes. Well, it's a rotational cast. We'll see how it goes. So thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for Too Fast, Too Furious. I cannot wait for that one. Shit.